ไม่ไหวฉันลืมเธอไม่ไหวไม่รู้ต้องทำยังไงเปิดไว้ที่เธอมองหารูปของเราพบว่ามันหายไปไม่เหลือแม้เงาตอนที่เธอลบมันเธอคิดถึงใจของฉันบ้างหรือเปล่าฉันอยากจะเก่งให้ได้สักครึ่งของเธอจังฉันก็เพิ่งจะรู้ว่าใจของคนอย่างเธอดำฉันจะไปมีสิทธิ์อะไรที่จะไปห้ามให้เธอทำถ้าอยากจะลืมก็แค่ลืมฉันไม่ได้ขอให้เธอจำไม่ขอให้เธอฟังคนบางคนเก็บไว้ในใจก็คงพอแต่ที่เธอทำดูเหมือนมันง่ายมันกลืนน้ำลายให้ลงคอส่วนฉันมันยัง move on ไม่ได้ยังหมุนเป็นวงกลมล้อที่ฉันจะพูดก็คือคิดถึงฉันหวังว่ามันคงตรงคอนั่งคนเก็บไว้ในใจไม่พอต่อให้เธอขอฉันก็ทำให้เธอ
Gentlemen, спасибо, наслаждайтесь игрой.
Offside VAR is something out. New Zealand. Третья судья видеоповтора Саймон Аллоу. Новая Зеландия. The support VAR is Bastian Duncan. Germany. Четвертая судья видеоповтора Бастиан Данкен. Германия. Против стать. Звучит государственный гимн Португалии. Звучит государственный. Состав Португалии. Number 3, Ronald Lizzie, Number 5, Ronald Academy, Rafael Guerrero. Number 6, Ronald Shasnoy, Jose. Here is the lineup for Morocco. It's the sostав Number 2, Ronald Gallo, Number 4, Ronald Chidwell, Manuel Costa. Number 5, Ronald Kelly, Benny Iglesias. Number 7, Ronald Siroy, Yes. Number 8, Ronald Rasnoy, Karim Al-Ahmadi. Number 10, Ronald Giuseppe, Yunus Navas. Number 13, Ronald Giuseppe, Javier Cotai. Number 14, Ronald Chidwell, Empire Brazil. Number 16, Ronald Giuseppe, Uruguay, Namala. 17, Vina Pilar. number 1.
I played in that game.
You did play, did you?
Yeah, because
Lucas Moura, pursued by Cedric, fouled by Cedric.
he's been big.
Kane trying to get his territory here. Reguilon, it's Lucas Moura. It's Lamela, he's got in. Eric Lamela has arrived with a goal. And Spurs, having soaked up some Arsenal pressure, lead in the derby, and you can see what it means to the players. No.
It's a little bit of a worrying start. Arsenal trying to press high, but I don't think the defence had really pushed up enough, left a bit of space over the top of Hector Bellerin. It one switch pass, I think it was from Tanganga, and Arsenal on the back foot a little bit there. And Tottenham, really didn't take their opportunity there, Russ. There was a couple of opportunities to put the ball in the box. They wasn't really committed to it.
So far, concerned, but certainly a good start from the home team. Fans, of course, back today, as we can hear as well, which adds that extra dimension, no question, for the season ahead.
Absolutely, and we'll see what a difference they do make, because I believe last season, I'm not saying it's comfortable for players not to play with fans, but sometimes, there isn't that pressure there, and that can allow players to play better. And ultimately, when you're at the bottom of the table or you're on your last legs and you need that 12th man, the fans to lift you for the last 10 minutes, they wasn't there, was they? So we'll see this season if they can really make a difference to their sides.
Yep, back to Moura again. Started his career well before just fading and going a bit flat, but perhaps with another new manager and one that maybe suits him, who knows. He's looking confident. Tottenham also happy to switch the passage of play from left to right. Bergwijn having a little run at Kieran Tierney, but as we know, it's tough to get any change out of Tierney at the back.
Yeah, he's a one-on-one specialist, really, and you can see that he jockeys before he commits to the challenge. He's showing you which direction he wants you to go in. He is such a good fullback. A proper schooled fullback, Russ. He's not someone who just fills in there. He is an out-and-out left-back, but what he does is, as well, as we've seen last season, he can take the team forward. Not done that yet in this game, because good switch of play again from Tottenham. They're working the ball well side to side.
A nice little dummy from Son to get this move underway. He then tries to feed Bergwijn on the overlap. Hitchman with one pre-season strike himself this season, not far away. Second player, Emmerich Aubameyang, could have maybe cleared the ball, but wasn't quite sure where it was going to fall after that ricochet. And again, Tottenham get it back, you could argue all too easily.
Yeah, I think Arsenal at the moment just coming to terms with who goes and closes down first, who starts off the press. There's a little bit of confusion whether or not Pepe goes or Emile Smith-Rowe goes, but if they do, then they certainly need to be backed up by Granit Xhaka pushing into the space that's left, or Lokonga is just getting that sort of transfer of position going, and Tottenham are just moving the ball a little bit quick for Arsenal to be able to get it right at the moment.
The touch from the new man, Lokonga, out to Tierney. Here is Xhaka, looking a promising stride forward, back to Tierney. Defending by a combination of Sanchez and that man Tanganga. Comfortable little tandem there. Collision then between Moura and Lokonga. And referee well placed and happy for play to go on. Again, just in attack there, a sign of things not quite gelling as yet, just to add to your defensive and positional point from earlier.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, Kieran Tierney was on the ground it looked like a hand potentially. We're just looking at those two Tottenham attacks in those first couple of minutes. Good opportunities to get the ball in. No one really attacking this for Tottenham. There was a little push on Højbjerg there. He's claiming it was a foul, but the referee's done well. He's kind of letting the game flow a little bit, isn't he, Russ?
Also, the new rules for this season, certainly the directive is, if there is minimal contact, not to necessarily always give a penalty just because there was contact, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and I think minimal contact in open play as well.
Point well made as Spurs come mightily close. That's by far the best opportunity of the game. Defence into attack in the blink of an eye. And Son Heung-min with a fine strike that certainly had burnt Leno worried, even if it flew the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, just a long ball down the middle, wasn't it? It was decent defending by White just to nod the ball in, but he needs one of his midfielders to be getting on that second ball, and it's got to hit the target for me there, Son. He's, prolific against Arsenal, we know that. Goes wide on that occasion.
And of course, often alongside a certain Harry Kane, have been very much Arsenal's undoers over recent years. Dele Alli is another player who, just toward the end maybe of the Jose Mourinho era and into the Nuno one, is getting a bit more game time and has been fairly lively himself early on in this match. Tierney in a bit of space. See, brilliant Scott just getting a bit of a run. In the end, though, things do not go his way. Thought he was shoved. The officials having none of it once more.
Yeah, and I think that leads back to that directive, doesn't it, about the minimal contact, because we saw lots of challenges like that in the Premier League last season and the season before. 2 or 3 of them, Russ, and you're committing offences, you can get a booking for that, and the game just doesn't flow.
Work from Smith Rowe, now from Aubameyang. It's Arsenal's first shot of the game. Over the skipper, pulling the trigger from distance after good work from the new number 10, of course, these days, Emile Smith Rowe.
Yeah, he showed a good hunger there, Aubameyang, to win that tackle. As Tottenham tried to come out with a ball, he just couldn't get his head over it.
So again from Arsenal, good pressing, good positional sense, enables them to win that ball back. Ridden that early storm, Marie. Unfortunately overhits that one, no chance for Tierney, but certainly a better last couple of minutes on the whole.
Yeah, and what Arsenal have done is they've just pressed up to the halfway line just to squeeze Tottenham in, and after an initial 3 or 4 or 5 minutes of having space to play, Tottenham have slowly been sort of closed down, pushed back into their own half, and Arsenal are starting to win the ball back higher up the pitch, which is I think Arteta's game plan. Win the ball back as high as possible. You've got the least distance to travel then to the opposition's goal. It makes total sense with the players in the Arsenal squad as well. It's just getting it right.
Nice flick on to free Dele Alli, end-to-end stuff. Post-Mine series finale. Alli not far away from feeding Son. And there is no out-and-out Spurs striker on the field, as we well know. But the interchangeability has got some potential, hasn't it?
Yeah, and they rely heavily on the support of their 3 sort of attacking midfield players, don't they? Ali, Lucas Moura and Bergwijn. And Son is just going to have to try and make that initial break, open up the space, and then we see his quality in the final third in his finishing. But Arsenal dealing with it well at the moment.
To Aubameyang, and back to the former Celtic man. I'd say Tierney can have a fully fit and firing and undisrupted season. White. On the ball as he found Pepe. Now to Smith Rowe. With that one. Disruptive play from the youngster Lokonga. It's just the kind of thing we want to see from him. Attempted quick free kick though, not working out.
Now you mentioned Lokonga. He's been involved 3 or 4 times already, picking up the loose ball, intercepting, getting himself in that position as a midfielder where you're blocking the opposition's forwards, and you're forcing almost the midfielders to play that pass knowing that you've got half a chance of nicking it, and that's just the kind of player Arsenal need in it. It's the similar player to Thomas Partey in that he likes to just get his toe in just in front of you and spark the attack.
28 appearances already in 2 seasons for Anderlecht is not bad going for a 21-year-old. Of course, coached by Vincent Kompany and co, which is no bad grounding either, and even part of the wider Belgian senior squad as well. So, as we mentioned before, a promising signing. Of course, Nuno Tavares, the young Portuguese, on the bench as well. Very promising left back side from Benfica. Lucas Moura. White, who shows him inside, but no chance to progress forward on that occasion. Another lateral move from the home team. Fine. Into the return pass. To young Tanganga again. Son. Aubameyang does really well just to nick that one off Son's toes. Give him a bit of confidence. Show he's not running too much of a long furrow.
Yeah, space was just getting shut down all the time for Tottenham, wasn't it? Good closing down by Arsenal. They're working across the pitch, and it's the false nine problem again. If Tottenham don't break quickly, then they can't just put the ball in the box, you know, at the end of it, because they've only got one player, and they're forced almost into playing the kind of walk it into the net football, and it allows Arsenal time to recover there with Aubameyang.
To hear those chants of the fans, it really is something so special. Until, of course, at Emirates Stadium. Season ahead, hopefully, if all goes to plan with COVID, it'll be great just to have large crowds, great passion, and just that proper feeling of football being back in its sweetest and most special sense. Not quite there on this occasion, but so far, young Conga and Ben White, not bad.
They've looked comfortable. I mean, we saw just a couple of minutes ago when Lucas Moura faced up Ben White down this left channel, and it's just, as a forward, you'll know players that you can run, you can take on. And he looked up and he saw Ben White and he thought, I don't think I've got the 2 or 3 yards I need to get past Ben. Had that been, and it's no disrespect, had that been David Luiz, as a player you would automatically think, I've got half a chance here. So just the psyche it puts into the opposition is beneficial, but the fact that he's a quality player as well, you know, brings that comfortability to the side. Yeah, great play there.
Fantastic tackle there to dispossess Son. Just read that beautifully, nicked the ball away, and here come Arsenal on the counter. Xhaka to Tierney, good ball looking for Lacazette. He's had a strong pre-season. Frenchman couldn't quite pull the trigger there, but here come Arsenal again. Xhaka to Lacazette again. Tried to feed it through to Aubameyang. Reception, I think, from Ali, who was back. Indeed it was.
There was actually a great ball in from Kieran Tierney. Just clipped it into the right area, and I think there was a very, very clever little touch just in the back of Alex Lacazette from, I think it was Eric Dyer. I'm not quite sure, I've seen a replay, but very clever. Just knocked him off balance. Arsenal finding it quite easy to get behind Tottenham when they get high enough up the pitch, when they win the ball back high enough up the pitch.
There from Oliver Skipp, the young midfielder. Came through the youth team ranks, and of course I think he was a 16-year-old when he made his debut a season or so ago. Still a very young, talented team. Getting a fair bit of pre-season time, as we mentioned. Cross through from Højbjerg was a decent one, looking for Moura. A mixture of White and Bayern just about did enough to guide it away from the 6-yard box.
There's a great flicked out header there from, it was actually Ben White, Russ, that got that header in. Overlap from Højbjerg down the right hand side. It's the only way you're going to get past Kieran Tierney is to double up on him. And no one went with Højbjerg.
There with the ball over the top this time with that trusty right boot. Finds Sergio Reguilón, but the Spaniard had too much work to do. And Arsenal breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief.
And we just look at that ball again. There it is, Ben White. Great positioning. If anything, Bellerin's covering him, but Bellerin could be a couple of yards further this way because Ben's timing was perfect there.
At least also Bellerin kept Mora busy, didn't he? Which was something if necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to be alongside each other, and Ben White will help Bellerin do that because Bellerin will get into the proper covering positions because Ben White's got pace. Bellerin can cover him from a little bit higher up.
Yep, to Smith Rowe now to Aubameyang. Aubameyang just couldn't quite get in the kind of cross he wanted. And Lloris with fine distribution. Into him once more, frees Mora. And this time has Marie against him. So. Turn from the Brazilian. A wonderful save from Bernardo to deny Son. Son twice has come close, one just wide and one blocked wonderfully by the German who put his body on the line and keeps this game scoreless.
It is a fantastic save from Leno. I'm sure the referee's going to stop it now. The goalkeeper down and Song. Yes, he has. It was Ben White that got taken on his left-hand side. Mora just gets enough to get past him. Song collides with the goalkeeper first as well, but he makes a great save, doesn't he?
His weaker left foot, that cross as well, and to Mora's credit, that's the only way he could really do it. And it was a good ball. It's a really brave save.
Very brave. I mean, he's kept his eye on it all the way to the end there. Look, he's even, after getting injured, he's still ready to react all up until the whistle goes and play stops there.
Leno will be fine, but Alex Runnison and Carl Heen are the two sub-keepers on the bench today as Mikel Arteta takes this opportunity to share a few choice and hopefully wise words with his squad. What do you think Arteta's saying at the moment in terms of how this first 16 minutes has panned out?
I think he'll be happy with our movement when we've got the ball. We're getting down the sides okay. I think just sometimes when Arsenal had a problem, it's because they're closing down as exposed an area and left an area open. And most of the time it's been over on this left-hand side around sort of where Hector Bellerin's potentially pushed on when Pepe's gone in to close down. So it's left that space. Ben White's going to have to expose. So really, I think it's for Nicola Pepe to get his timing right when he goes in with Laka or Emile Smith-Rowe, and then Sambi Lokonga needs to come into that space that's been vacated by them because Tottenham have just got a little get-out area.
Just waiting to explode into this game. Oh, but Tierney gets it. Here's Aubameyang in a bit of space. Delivery. Don't see much of Nicola Pepe in this game. In play. Still the club's record signing. Just like that support. And once more. Need to see more of Pepe as this game progresses.
Yeah, I think towards the end of last season he was an important player for Arsenal, and he came out of himself a bit when he started playing alongside Lacazette and Bukayo Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, I think. And the Europa, although Arsenal not getting all the way as far as they wanted to go in the competition, I think it gave him a lease of life where he could play his own game. So I will be looking for him definitely, though, this season to improve on that. He has to, at his price tag, and to get in the side he'll need to play better on a more regular basis.
And of course from Lille, but as you rightly say, then took that Europa League form and confidence to a degree into the Premier League. As Arsenal won their last 5 games of last season, don't forget, to end with strong momentum. And we can't forget, David, given today's opposition, that it was all down to the final few seconds, wasn't it, effectively, on who managed to nick into this new Europa Conference League qualifying stage, want it or not. Looked like Arsenal were going to do it and overtake Spurs until right at the death. These two, even though they weren't playing each other, went ding-dong for the final few games, didn't they? Yeah,
and I think it's still a competition you want to be in, because you'll have players that, like Nicola Pepe, who are not getting regular Premier League games, and then they need to keep their game at a high level, and it does that for the club. You know, it accommodates the under-23 players and the out of first-team squad players, and gives them a decent level game every few weeks.
And Aubameyang just exchanging passes there. Here's the new man Lokonga, now to Hector Bellerin. Fellow Spaniard Reguilon. Good header clear from side from Tandanga. Xhaka combining again, seen a fair bit of that in recent minutes. Dyer. Just waiting for that kind of clinical, beautiful through ball to unlock this defence. We're just waiting for that moment of magic, aren't we?
Yeah, we're waiting for that person to come up with that moment of magic, and it's not as easy as it looks. I mean, you'd think that Arsenal would be able to get someone to sort of get in behind and get exposed Tottenham, but Tottenham staying very compact. They're not getting drawn out of their positions too easily, even on that switch pass there. No one's in too much of a hurry to get to Hector Bellerin, so they are becoming difficult to break down.
Smith Rowe turns Højbjerg well. Was he fouled? Again, the decision is no. There's been plenty of physicality in this game so far. Shot from distance, first on target of the game from Arsenal. Excellent effort from Alexandre Lacazette. He continues his strong pre-season, looking for his third goal. And the Frenchman not far away from the opener here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
No, it was a decent strike, but he actually won the ball back first of all there, sliding back on Tottenham midfield after there had been an exchange in possession. Granit Xhaka just giving the ball back and then sent him on his way. It was a lovely turn and touch and a strike on target.
Has switched flanks. We'll see. Son last, yes it was, for another corner. Of course it was from a corner that Arsenal got their goal through Xhaka against Chelsea, ultimately in a losing cause. But that was something to build on.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Xhaka involved in the actual attacking of set pieces and being in the box. And we all know he's got the ability from striking the ball.
There's another man with oodles of ability, having signed that new contract earlier in the summer. Great to have him signed up for several more years to come minimum. Delivery to Aubameyang. Just again lacked a little bit of precision and perhaps just a little bit of power. Great play though from Bellerin to beat Dele Alli, and here's Ober again. It's Reguilon. Denise does well. Really, that was a push from young Ollie Skip. Pretty sure that he shoved Lokonga, but I guess the referee's been consistent so far. He's letting most of these go.
Yeah, I mean, there's consistency in that, but there are the ones that just go just beyond that, and we'll just wait for this to go over. Again, yeah, I think there are ones that go beyond that that could constitute maybe too much an advantage for the opposition.
Skip was an obvious push. Yeah. That one on the brink.
So Skip's one. The referee's got that decision then to make, hasn't he? It's not just is it a foul or not, but look at the advantage it gives the opposition. So is he less likely to give it because it's up this end of the pitch as well? It's going to play on his mind.
So, by the way, David Coote is our official today. Excellent football there from Spurs, playing out from the back. Bergwijn now might get there, and guess who did? Ben White. Counter-attack was snuffed out very calmly.
Yeah, and we saw there right at the beginning of that, Kieran Tierney asking the referee, was that a push? As he's been involved in the challenge, he doesn't get this decision, so he's forced to recover. A bit old school, a bit like we used to. So it's kind of, I like to see it. I think there will be times when you don't get the decision, which will annoy you as a manager or as an official of that club. But listen, on the whole, I think it's better for football.
Totally agree with you. An excellent run there from Ben White. Took two players out of the game and I wouldn't say cleverly won the free kick. I think Reguilon was deliberately standing his ground. But that was very, very good football from White. We've talked about his ability to get in the right position, his ability to obviously tackle and shepherd players where he needs, but a little example there of how good he is on the ball, what a good ball playing centre half he is too, and it set the platform nicely. So Aubameyang, who beats his man brilliantly. More joy maybe down the left for Ober. Couldn't quite find Lacazette. from Tierney, who'd just stayed back then. Are definitely growing into this game.
Yeah, they're looking more comfortable than Tottenham. I think it's just, as you touched on earlier, Russ, it's that little bit of creativity, that little pass to open it up in that final third that's just not been there. Just needs the right run and the right ball.
This ball is a good one. Alexandre Lacazette letting fly. Technically, it was a tough one to try and hit that flying ball as it was landing over his shoulder. Had a pop as he had to. And Lacazette not far away.
Yeah, it's a wonderful pass from Tierney. He's allowed space to cross the ball in. And I've got to say, it is a difficult execution, Russ, but I'll tell you what, a forward would love that. Any forward that I'd played with, Ian Wright would have loved balls like that because it gives you the opportunity to really score a spectacular one. And I think Laka will look at that as, from the quality that he believes he has got, as a half chance, at least a half chance.
So in that little montage there, that's twice already that Lacazette has gone close in this game. Lucas Moura tries to find Son, who's of course gone close twice as well. They're the two players with the best opportunities, and no foul once again, but you've got to say David Coote was well placed.
Yeah, I think he's saying there he's allowed the play to go on there, but you know what's happening is the players are accepting it now, Russ. The first couple they was arguing, but now they realise they've just got to get out quickly, get on with the game, and see if they get the decision. You can't be hanging around appealing to the ref anymore. It's great. I mean, I love it. I love that kind of football anyway. I think also it'll eradicate a lot of unnecessary cards.
Yeah. And also, as you touched on, that stop-start frustration and lack of flow that you want in a game at times too. Challenge there. Legal one again from White as he backed in but nicked the ball. Here's Smith Rowe. And Dyer, who stands his ground well. Bellerin almost showed too much of it to the England man, but now finds Smith Rowe again. Young with the block against his compatriot. They're just the kind of signs that Arteta will be quick to talk about and work on, aren't they?
Yeah, that's little throw-ins, little movements up front, and when you give up possession, when you've worked so hard to get there, they're all the things he'll be tidying up on, because the players are good quality. If they can win the ball high up, that's his game, and it's just getting them through those stages.
Maybe Nuno Espirito Santo will do the same.
Well, he'll be working on defensive throw-ins while Arsenal were then. Yeah, I did actually see the other day. I comment on Twitter that there was a guy who is specifically a football throw-ins coach.
Need it, judging by that.
And I think there's certainly possibly some work to be done with those throw-ins, because they are a free pass effectively, and you know, if you can make the most of them in those final third areas, it's got to be beneficial.
Was Davinson Sanchez tugging Lacazette's shirt there? He certainly thinks so. And the former Lyon Mount very frustrated as he turns to Mr. Coote. But once more, the decision is not given and play goes on. Højbjerg to Ali. Fine continued his run. Was Ali fouled? Again, the answer is no.
Yeah, no change for Dele Alli, although I think, you know, a lot of players, Russ, play a little pass past someone and then run into him. We've seen Granit Xhaka do it. We've seen Dele Alli do it there. They're not diving. They're just trying to make the most of the last situation that they're going to be able to do anything. And referees are not falling for that. So other players now are going to have to be on that second ball, picking the speed of the game up. It will speed the game up as well.
See on your screen, no doubt, the rain that was very, very heavy in London earlier that went away for a while around kick-off in those leaden skies has certainly come back with a vengeance once more, and that'll be another dynamic for the rest of this game to contend with.
Be another dynamic for the referee as well with the challenges, because, you know, we've seen Ben White come in sharp a few times, doesn't really want to slip over and take someone out, you know, and so you have to be careful.
Tierney, another good ball. Dyer there just ahead of Lacazette. Nicely juggled on the half volley initially by Smith Rowe. Good close control, as we know. The young academy graduate possesses. Ball in from Lokonga. As far as Pepe, twisting, turning, nearly engineering an opportunity at goal. Just could not find another red shirt with that final pass.
Good intricate passing, and Pepe, he delivers the ball into the area. I think Lacazette took a gamble and gone to the near post.
Challenge there from Ali on Xhaka. Did get the ball, but he got a bit of the Swiss as well. Xhaka knows all about that himself. Great opportunity! Alexandre Lacazette. So close for a third time, tantalisingly close there. Really is putting himself into some good positions, and surely a matter of time until he finds the back of the net.
Yeah, there's only one thing in his mind as he's about to receive that pass from Sambi Lokonga in there is one touch and I'm going to get it. It's the outside of the post. He's looking the most dangerous player for Arsenal at the moment down that central area.
Certainly in terms of reports, if nothing else, the future of Lacazette may be in question. Hector Bellerin certainly would be another, and there are several others on show today within the squad and a couple beyond. Fascinating to see what happens to some of these kind of guys if they are here beyond the end of this transfer window.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, when players have not got the future that they want at a club, contract-wise or playing-wise. But all you can judge a player on is the way he turns out on a match day. And Lacazette's turning up for Arsenal. He wants to play for Arsenal. He's in a red shirt and he's doing his best today. That's all I personally can judge him on. And he certainly, when he's playing well in this side, he can be a great player.
That caught the hand of young Japhet Tanganga. It did. He's saying he could do nothing about it, but the arm was outstretched. So, to me, by the letter of the law, that is probably the right call from the referee for the free kick.
Yeah, and we may have seen last season him getting a yellow card for that, even though he could do nothing about it. It is still a free kick because it stopped Arsenal's ball from going into a dangerous area.
But no more.
But no more. It's just a lot of it's common sense. We say from a watching point of view, but there were some bad decisions last year. It's good to see that that's not a card. It's just a free kick. Get on with the game.
This then be taken into the Premier League season or not? We, I think, largely would like to say hope so. But just didn't perhaps time his jump there. Perhaps surprised it even got to him. Nice turn from Lacazette. Looking for White for a fairy tale goal. His first Arsenal start. Not to be. Just for a moment, it almost fell, didn't it, to both strikers?
Yeah, I think Lacazette, Aubameyang, I think it was going to go on his head, then it dropped at the last minute, and I think he thought about bringing it down on his chest and playing. But certainly an area I think Arsenal can improve on is getting more from their set pieces, more goals, but just more attempts on goal as well. Lift the level of confidence at set pieces, because they're fantastic opportunities, and Arsenal have got some big lads in their side if they hit them.
Just trying to maybe do a little too much there. And Arsenal had committed men forward here. They've got to be careful. They are careful. And it's Ben White again with a wonderful bit of football as Dele Alli comes in hard, and that's a nasty foul on Nicola Pepe, and unsurprisingly, first booking of the game.
Yeah, well, I said it was getting a little bit greasy, wasn't it? And Dele Alli had actually a couple of times made a couple of challenges like this. The referee had let them go, in fairness, but that's a little bit dangerous. It's on his standing leg as well. There can't be any arguments about it. But you've got to remember, it's a London derby, friendly or not. It is a London derby, and the biggest London derby of all, Russ.
Look at what happened to poor Wesley Fofana, the young Leicester defender, out for months and months and months after being taken out against Villarreal. And I'm not saying that this Dele Alli challenge was as bad as the one he received. It's not. But ultimately, you've got to still be careful and considerate within reason, haven't you? Pre-season, but I take your point. It is a North London derby.
Yeah, and the referee's managing it at a level where he needs to let certain fouls go, but now and again he's going to have to reprimand someone. The consistency might not quite be there, but it just reinforces the fact that he is the boss on the pitch, and you can't go around challenging like that.
Tough when you need to be. Challenge from Skip was from behind, but got just enough of the ball and none of the man. Arsenal were a little static there and lacked options, but they've got away with it. And they could have got away with it big time, because here's Pepe. Nice turn. Delivery too. Crucial. But Tanganga got back and made the block. Still Arsenal come through. Smith Rowe tries to dink one in instead. Die there ahead of Lacazette. Arsenal trying to vary the delivery that time, but no dice once more.
Well, it's a nice sharp break from Arsenal. 2 opportunities to put the ball in the box. It is just that execution of that final pass. Pepe's was in a good area though. He just didn't, I don't think anyone could keep up with him to actually get in the box and support that attack.
Seen much from Spurs in an attacking sense for a good while now after their excellent start. It's been all Arsenal. We've gone 36 minutes, David, without mentioning how, of course, Harry Kane clearly is not playing today, the England captain and Spurs striker. Seen much from Spurs in an attacking sense for a good.
Casino
say he's approaching the absolute peak of his career if he's not at it, and if he is going to win things and really have a good trophy cabinet to retire with, decisions need to be made.
Yeah, this is his opportunity. This is his window of opportunity. He might be waiting to see whether Tottenham will compete with some more signings before the end of the window, but sometimes you've got to see what's on the table now, and he doesn't want to look at the potential of Tottenham. As you said, he's 28 years old. He could have a couple of, he could have a Champions League final in him, you know, and maybe a couple of La Liga titles and finals wherever he goes.
As we know, with Tottenham's stop-start managerial situation, every time someone comes in, goes, rebuilds, it's more time effectively lost. And Arsenal have had a few issues of their own in that regard in recent years, but that probably doesn't help. Skip up against Lacazette there, who only had eyes for the ball, but certainly was a muscular challenge. I guess Lacazette will say that plenty of others against him didn't get given.
I think that is exactly what they both said there. Look, referee, it's happening exactly the same that happened up there, and you didn't give a free kick. But my point, going back to it again, is you've not got players standing around complaining for 10, 12 seconds now, because they know they're not getting it. They're getting up on their feet because they've got a job to do. They've got to get back in position, otherwise they're going to be exposed by the opposition. So it is creating a much more fluid game.
Maybe after that Ali yellow card, perhaps Mr. Coote has just tightened up a little bit as well.
Just tempered it a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, you can be, you know, referees are very if they're clever, they can manage and control the game just how they want to, but you've got to keep it at a good level for the players as well.
They've evolved the bar slightly of what is a free kick and what isn't, depending on the situation. So Spurs with a strong start, and Moura and Son look excellent. One super save from Leno and one effort just wide, but beyond that, it's been mostly Arsenal. Lacazette's clipped the post, he's gone close twice more as well. He's looked increasingly dangerous as the half has progressed. Ball over the top. Sanchez to Son, who's got Bergwijn inside. White stood his ground well again. Bellerin maybe took it away from his teammate Lokonga, but immediate danger at least is stemmed. Or is it? Moura to Son once more. Wonderful chance for Dele Alli. Absolute sitter. Shot across the bows for the Gunners, and Dele Alli. This is a golden chance for his third goal already of pre-season. What a miss.
Best chance of the game. Tottenham been quiet, but it's the run into the box from Son. The ball clipped into him. He's allowed to get possession in the box. He sets the ball lovely for Ali. Ali just rattles the post. And it is a bit of a get out of jail for Arsenal, because after dominating the half but being the more likelier side, I think, to get a goal. And that all started for us from Pablo Mari. He didn't go short, and he exposed Ben White. Ben had to go on the run and got taken out of that area. You know, small mistakes. But Arsenal, luckily, still at 0-0.
Just the kind of thing, isn't it, that to progress up the league and get to be back where Arsenal should be, where they expect to be and need to be. You've had a great period of dominance. You've not scored, which is in itself a frustration, but then you do that to ease the pressure and put the other team back in at the other end.
Absolutely. I mean, it can turn in a second, the game, can't it? And having dominance and not scoring can have a detrimental effect, especially if the opposition take an opportunity. It can knock the stuffing right out of you. Thankfully, that didn't go in, and the one earlier on from Son that Leno saved, you know, again. But Arsenal have looked, to me, the better side.
They've looked the more balanced side, I would say, over the course of probably the last half an hour at least. Yeah,
but Tottenham have looked just as likely to score when it comes into that final third, if not more likely, because they've just been more direct in their approach to finishing the attack.
Pass in field, good touch from Lacazette, and surely a foul there. There was. Advantage almost played by David Cooten. I think correctly he calls it back.
Yeah, it's more of an advantage for Arsenal to be able to put the ball into the box. Both Ober and Laka were sort of out of the play, weren't they?
Chance from that far left-hand side. Arsenal have had a couple of corners and a couple of free kicks out there. Slightly more central. Out for a pop, or?
I think just the width of it, you know, being that wide makes it probably less eligible for a strike on goal. It's I don't know. I like the idea of an in-swinger, and it just needs a little header on it, but also I like the fact that Pepe's left foot can bring it behind the defence and back sort of along the edge of the 6-yard line. It can cause a dangerous, just like that. Oh,
great delivery. Just did not quite fall. Spurs defenders are certainly behind the 8 ball there, and we're more than happy to see that one fizz wide of danger. Exactly how David Hillier called it.
Yeah, it just needed, do you know what, that just needed sort of your big central defender, just a late run to be coming, get his timing right, leap above everybody and just smash that home, or at least get it on target, give yourself a chance.
Down on him. He's just putting his arms up slightly, asking where his options were.
Well, he did have a runner in Smith Rowe, but Pepe, who we just see there, he was already standing in the position. He needed to come out of it and go short and allow Smith Rowe round the back.
Worked in the end, though, as the two then recombined. Loose pass frees Lacazette. Here's good football from Smith Rowe. Great fast feet. Opened up for the youngster. Deflected shot behind for the corner, and not too far away from being much more.
Yeah, he picked up the ball here from this cross from Tierney. Scrappy defending from Tottenham. Does well, Smith Rowe, but could he have passed to Bellerin and just slid Hector in so that he could have put the ball across the box? Possibly, but you're not going to deny your midfield player who's got an opportunity of getting a shot off.
And he was also slightly off balance as well, and I think probably had to do something before he lost control.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like he'd made his mind up that was the option.
It is a corner. Just the one additional minute, as you can hear that. It's Deep in swinger looking for Murray. White it was who got there instead. Arsenal were looking for. Højbjerg doing well. Right around, doesn't he, after his signing from Southampton? He was a good Jose Mourinho pickup.
Yeah, I think he works well in front of a back four, doesn't he? He'll do the dirty work. He'll go with runners. He's physical. I think he's a good organiser as well.
Smith Rowe surely tugged. Indeed he was, and I suspect young Ollie Skip will go in the book.
Yeah, he's been sold by Neil Smith Rowe there. It's good skill by the new Arsenal number 10. Took it into the area, into the box, but the foul just outside.
The final play of the half, and it's a very good opportunity for Arteta's men. Xhaka was Højbjerg again. I'm sure Arsenal made the best of that frustratingly. But they end the half on the front foot. And Alexandre Lacazette with 3-4 excellent chances, including one that clipped the edge of the post. Dele Alli with a golden chance for Tottenham after Arsenal's dominance midway through the half. His effort hitting the upright.
โอเคครับสวัสดีครับอยู่กับ The Cook National ครับโอเคก็ผ่านไปครึ่งแรกแล้วอาร์เซนอลกับสเปอร์ต้องพูดก่อนว่าโดยรวมผ่อนเสียงแป๊บนึงโอเควันนี้ก็ตั้งใจมาลองไลฟ์คร่าวๆแหละไม่ตั้งใจจะมาพากบอลหรอกเพราะว่าเราก็ไม่ได้มีความสามารถอะไรขนาดนั้นใช่ป่ะแต่ว่าเราก็มาเป็นอารมณ์เหมือนรายงานสดแล้วกันรายงานสดให้เพื่อนๆได้ฟังได้ดูกันอัปเดตโอเคก็ผ่านมาครึ่งแรกแล้วอาร์เซนอลมาเยือนสเปอร์แต่เป็นรูปเกมสไตล์อาร์เตต้านะรู้สึกเหมือนปีนี้อาร์เตต้าได้นักเตะที่ตัวเองต้องการหลายๆคนแล้วก็เรียกว่ายังไงดียังเป็นสไตล์อาร์เตต้าที่คุมเน้นเกมบุกแต่สเปอร์ชุดนี้วันนี้อย่างที่เห็นแล้วครับไม่ดูเดี๋ยวผมจะขยายให้ดูสเปอร์ไม่มีแฮร์รี่เคนโดยใช้ซองเฮอร์มินเนี่ยเป็นกองหน้าแล้วโดนอัลลี่ลงมาเป็นกลางลุกซึ่งหลายๆอย่างได้เห็นวันนี้ก็คือสเปอร์เซตเกมบุกไม่ได้เลยเป็นเกมเคาน์เตอร์แอทแทคไม่ต่างอะไรกับสมัยที่เรียกว่าไงอะมูรินโญ่ยังคุมอยู่เลยสำหรับผมนะไม่ต่างกับมูรินโญ่คุมอยู่เลยแล้วก็โอเคความคมของสเปอร์ยังเหมือนเดิมไม่แตกต่างจากวันที่มูรินโญ่คุมโดยรวมซองเฮอร์มินถือว่าเป็นกึ่งตัวแบกทีมนะวันนี้มีโอกาสยิงประมาณ2ครั้งที่กุ๊กเห็นนะโอกาส2ครั้งตัวหนึ่งก็ลูคัสมูล่าเนี่ยซองเฮอร์มินมีโอกาสได้ชาร์จจ่อไม่เข้าอาร์เซนอลก็มีโอกาสขึงเยอะกว่านะโดยโอกาสยิงส่วนใหญ่มาจากลากาเซตโดยจังหวะที่เน้นสุดๆก็จะเป็นของเทนนี่เปิดเข้ามาจากด้านซ้ายแล้วก็ยิงเนี่ยลากาโอกาสเยอะมากส่วนโอบาไม่มีเลยไม่ได้ทำอะไรแต่มีโอกาสเปิดครั้งหนึ่งเข้าไม่เข้าหัวแต่เปิดดีถ้าโอเคอย่างปีที่แล้วเราเห็นว่าโอบาโดนดันไปเล่นหน้าเป้าเยอะแต่ก็เล่นไม่ได้สำหรับอาร์เซนอลเนี่ยจะมีจังหวะหนึ่งแอลลี่ชาร์จจ่อประมาณนาทีที่38เพื่อนที่กูขึ้นรูปไป38ชาร์จจ่อโดยทรงมินทัดแบ็กมาแต่แอลลี่ต้องบอกยิงจ่อไม่เข้านะเพราะว่ายิงเท้าขวาแต่ว่าการเห็นเนี่ยปล่อยจ้องหมดเลยเนี่ยกองหลังอาร์เซนอลจ้องเลยที่กูเห็นเดี๋ยวกูลองมันไม่ใช่เป็นถ่ายทอดสดนะของกูก็ไม่ได้ถ่ายทอดสดแล้วก็ไม่ได้ภาพแต่จะเป็นกึ่งรายงานสดบวกกับพยายามหาภาพมารายงานตลอดนะว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นบรรยากาศในสนามอย่างเช่นตอนนี้เลยเดี๋ยวกูจะเอาภาพ คู่เซนเตอร์ของอาร์เซนอลคู่นี้ไม่รู้ว่าวันจริงมาเปิดสนามจะเป็นคู่นี้หรือเปล่ามาลีกับกองหลัง50 ล้านของอาร์เซนอลเป็นไว้เดี๋ยวให้ดูอาร์เตต้าภาพนี้ไม่เห็นในการถ่ายทอดสดนะไม่รู้ว่าอาร์เตต้าโหมขึ้นหรือว่าแค่กระตุ้นเฉยๆแต่ถ้าโดยรวมแล้วก็ถือว่าเล่นกันดีนะสำหรับคู่นี้เปาโลมาลีกับเป็นไว้ของเนี่ยเรียกว่าไงดีอาร์เตต้าต้องการมาลีมากตามเพราะสตาร์รีเควสไว้ต้องการกองหลังที่เล่นเท้าซ้ายได้และเป็นสไลด์กองหลังอังกฤษความดีต้องการ DNA จากพรีเมียร์ลีกอังกฤษ DNA ของสัญชาติอังกฤษเยอะมากเพราะอาร์เซนอลกองหลังอังกฤษไม่ว่าจะเป็นคาร์ลแชมเบอร์ไม่ว่าจะเป็นโฮลดิ้งโอเคมันถึงอยู่อาร์เซนอลมานานแต่ว่า DNA ก็ยังไม่ชัดถ้ามีชัดหน่อยก็มีคาร์ลแชมเบอร์โฮลดิ้งถึงได้ยืนตัวหลักบ่อยมากด้วยกันที่แล้วแต่ว่าก็ยังพิสูจน์อะไรไม่ค่อยได้ใช่ป่ะเพื่อนๆรู้อยู่เชิงดีแต่ว่าพึ่งหวังอะไรไม่ได้เชิงดีแต่ว่าสปีดบอลแพ้โอเคมาพูดถึงเรื่องต่อไปเลยอาร์เซนอลไล่เมย์คนเลยวันนี้เปเป้ดูมีชีวิตชีวาขึ้นแต่ถ้าเทียบกับนัดที่เจอกับเชลซีที่อาร์เซนอลแพ้ไปเพื่อนก็บอกว่าเปเป้ปีนี้น่าจะมีของแล้ววันนี้การเคลื่อนไหวเปเป้ดีขึ้นแต่ถ้าเพื่อนมันไม่เอาปีวันนี้ที่เจอสเปอร์เล่นไม่ดีแต่ถ้าเทียบกับตอนที่อยู่เจอกับเชลซีที่แล้วถึงแพ้ก็เถอะแต่เราเห็นเปเป้สามารถตัดเข้าในสามารถโดนบีบให้ทางขวากล้าเล่นกล้ายิงกล้าส่งเล่นง่ายมากขึ้นเปเป้เหมือนจะปรับตัวเข้ากับพรีเมียร์ลีกอังกฤษได้แล้วมา2 ฤดูกาลเข้าฤดูกาลที่ 3แต่ปัญหาหลักๆเลยที่เราเห็นก็คือเลโน่ดูขาดความมั่นใจถึงจะมีโอกาสเซฟได้2 ครั้งก็เถอะไม่รู้ว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นกับเลโน่คิดว่าเลโน่น่าจะปีนี้น่าจะมีปัญหาสำหรับตัวเองมากๆเป็นยาลินอีกคนนึงไม่มีโอกาสขึ้นไปเติมหรืออะไรเลยทั้งที่ตัวเองเป็นคนที่ชอบเล่นเกมแบบด้วยซ้ำกลายเป็นเทนนี่มากกว่าที่กลายเป็นบุกแล้วมันชิบหายโอเคเดี๋ยวผมพยายามหาภาพในมุมของนี่นะแฟนๆนะมีภาพเยอะมากครับเดี๋ยวผมจะพยายามไล่ไปมีภาพระดับหนึ่งเลยนะมีภาพระดับหนึ่งนี่จังหวะนี้ก็จะเป็นภาพของชุดภาพของเทนนี่กับอาร์เตต้านะครับเพื่อนๆคือเทนนี่กับอาร์เตต้าโค้ชข้างสนามเยอะมากนี่เป็นอีกภาพหนึ่งครับที่ออกมาจากในบรรดาเรียกว่าไงบรรดาตากล้องในสนามนี่แหละคนชงเข้าไปถ่ายอาร์เตต้าเข้มงวดกับกองหลังเหลือเกินนะรู้สึกเป็นห่วงเราเห็นแล้วว่าทั้งมาลีอย่างเป็นไว้อย่างรูปไม่เกี่ยรูปก่อนนี้นี่รูปนี้อาร์เตต้าเรียกเหมือนไม่ได้ใส่อารมณ์แต่ก็มีคำสั่งแล้วก็มีสีหน้าที่ดูใส่ลมหน่อยแต่ไม่ได้ตึงแบบลูกเกมวันนี้ไม่ได้เดือดนะเนี่ยดูสมแบบเบนยาลินไม่ได้กุ๊กไม่กล้าพูดว่าเบนยาลินจะได้อยู่จนถึงสิ้นเดือนไหมนะไม่แน่กุ๊กว่าเบนยาลินน่าจะย้ายทีมหรือเปล่าเพราะว่าเล่นเหมือนเล่นโอเคเรารู้ว่าเบนยาลินรักสโมสรโตมากับสโมสรแต่เราไม่รู้ว่าอนาคตเนี่ยเบนยาลินในเมื่อความกระหายมันไม่มากพอหรือไม่มากพอเฮ้ยโอเครูปนี้กูเห็นเทนนี่ใส่กางเกงในโอเคสำหรับใครไม่รู้นะว่าเทนนี่เคยผ่าตัดไส้ติ่งเมื่อตอนย้ายมาอาร์เซนอลใหม่ๆก็คือไม่ใส่เป็นผู้เล่นที่ไม่ใส่กางเกงในวิ่งนั่นแหละไม่รู้ว่ารอบนี้กางเกงบันลองใส่หรือเปล่ากางเกงในมันมีปัญหาการวิ่งนะเว้ยการไม่ใส่กางเกงในเตะบอลเนี่ยแต่ว่านักฟุตบอลอังกฤษหลายๆคนนักฟุตบอลต่างประเทศหลายๆคนชอบไม่ใส่กางเกงในเตะบอลโอเคเดี๋ยวผมมาพูดภาพรวมแล้วกันว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นบ้างในครึ่งแรกนี่ครับจังหวะแรกเอาภาพนี้ขึ้นมาเลยเชนี่เป็นคนเปิดแล้วก็เป็นคนเติมสุดเส้นให้อาร์เซนอลเยอะมากมีโอกาสจ่าแล้วเปิดเข้าจุดโฟกัสครั้งหนึ่งให้ลากาเซตมงและลากาเซตได้ชาร์จถือว่ามีความแบบขึ้นมามีประสิทธิภาพไม่เหมือนกับเบนยาลินที่ขึ้นมาแล้วแม่งโคตรด้อยค่าโอ โอเคครับมาจังหวะนี้ฝั่งของสเปอร์มั่งสเปอร์ซองเฮอร์มินก็เหมือนเดิมทุกครั้งเลยใช้คำนี้เลยมีหลายครั้งที่แฮร์รี่เคนเจ็บแล้วซองเฮอร์มินโดนขึ้นเป็นหน้าเป้าและเป็นซองนี่แหละที่แบกทีมเราเคยเห็นซองเฮอร์มินลูกกัน2 ลูกกันที่แล้วที่เรายังไม่มั่นใจว่าก่อนที่เป็นซองมันโดอะเราไม่มั่นใจว่าซองเฮอร์มินจะแบกทีมได้ไหมใช่ซองเฮอร์มินแบกทีมได้เป็นกองหน้าที่ดีได้แต่ที่บอกตรงไปตำแหน่งตรงนั้นถ้ามีแฮร์รี่เคนกลับมามันจะดีกว่าไหมโอเคถ้าถามว่าระยะยาวยิงได้แต่เขาเรียกว่าไงความเจ็บความทนและการยิงแม่นๆของซองที่ระยะไกลอ่ะมันจะเสียตรงนั้นเลยเราไม่รู้ว่าซองไปอยู่ตรงนั้นแล้วจะชาร์จดีไม่ดีแต่ซองคนนี้มีปัญหาสร้างปัญหาอาร์เซนอลเยอะมาก2 ครั้งทุกนับได้2 ครั้งนี่จังหวะนี้เบเลโน่ก็มีโอกาสเซฟ2 ครั้งเหมือนกันแต่เป็นเซฟที่แบบใช้คำว่าไอ้เหี้ยนั่นดูตะปั่นมากนี่ครับมาฝั่งลากาเซตวันนี้มียิงโอกาสยิง3 ครั้งในครึ่งแรก3 ครั้งในครึ่งแรกไม่ธรรมดาด้วย3 ครั้งในครึ่งแรกและเข้ากรอบประมาณ3 ครั้งด้วยไม่2 ก็ 3นะทำไม่ผิดนะเป็นการยิงหน้ากรอบ2 ครั้งส่วนโอบาหายไปเลยเพื่อนผู้ซีนี่ครับส่วนอัลลี่ได้ไปเหรียญแล้วนั่นมันจะกลายเป็นเมเกอร์อัลลี่น่าจะห่างหายจากสนามไปนานมากถ้าจำไม่ผิดตั้งแต่มันโยกเข้ามาก่อนหน้านี้อัลลี่มาแทนมาตอนตำแหน่งพอสแล้วเล่นดีมากตอนอยู่กับพอสแต่พอมาเล่นอยู่โยกเป็นตัวสำรองหลุดมีปัญหาแล้ววันนี้ก็เห็นว่าอัลลี่ต้องใช้เวลาอีกหน่อยสักระยะเลยเพราะว่า10 นัดแรกอัลลี่ยังไม่เปี้ยงป้างแต่มีผลงานให้เห็นอัลลี่ขาดความขาดเหมือนไม่เหมือนตอนแรกเลยเราเห็นอัลลี่เคยงัดลูกบอลเล่กลางอากาศแล้วยิงตุ้มเข้ามาแต่วันนี้อัลลี่เล่นรับต่ำแล้วเป็นไม่ได้เล่นไม่ได้เลยทุกวันเล่นไม่ได้เสียดายของอัลลี่เสียดายของต้องรอดูโดนมี1 เหลืองแล้วก็ช้าจ่อด้วยขาขวาติดเซฟเบเลโน่ไม่ได้ยิงหนีตัวเบเลโน่ติดเข้าตัวส่วนคนนี้สมิธโลเบอร์ 10ของอาร์เซนอลใกล้ถึงมาแล้วสมิธโลของอาร์เซนอลเล่นดีมากมีจังหวะสุดท้ายช่วงนาทีที่45หลบ2 คน 3 คนหน้ากรอบเขตโทษแล้วยิงด้วยขวาติดเซฟสวยมากคิดว่าได้เห็นพัฒนาการของสมิธโลในซีซั่นนี้แน่ๆจากฤดูกาลที่แล้วเราเห็นเป็นนักเตะที่ให้บอลง่ายให้บอลเร็วให้บอลฉลาดให้บอลไม่เก็บบอลเหมือนกันนะไม่เก็บบอลไว้กับตัวนานเล่นเหมือนคล้ายๆโรเบร์ตปีแลกกับโรซิกี้อะไรอย่างนั้นเลยแต่สมิธโลคือสมิธโลคิดว่าสมิธโลเนี่ยน่าจะเป็นอะไรที่ลงตัวระหว่างเราจะเห็นความลงตัวระหว่างปีแลกแล้วก็นาซี่ก็เหมือนว่าตัวนี้เหมือนนาซี่แล้วสุดตรงนั้นสำหรับเบอร์10สมิธโลของเราโอเคครับครึ่งหลังใกล้เริ่มแล้วรอสัญญาณแป๊บนึงสำหรับว่าการครึ่งหลังจะเป็นยังไงโอเคนะขอให้เราชนะขอทีมเราชนะ ตอนนี้ครึ่งหลังนักฟุตบอลลงมาสนามแล้วน่าจะพักเพิ่มมั้งปกติพัก15 นาทีนี่จะเพิ่มเป็น20 นาทีหรือเปล่านะโอเคนี่คือให้ภาพดูก่อนครับจังหวะเป็นไวส์กองหลัง50 ล้านปอนด์ของอาร์เซนอลเหลือ2-1โอเคเขาเป็นมาอย่างจริงจังนะครับเจอกันหลังจบเกมนะ
One of those can cost you 3 points.
Times for much of last season, unfortunately, frustratingly. 13 times last season, did win 18, including their last 5. Tottenham as Tanganga feeds Bergfijn. Pablo Marie with a strong block, and just before that we saw Ben White with a forthright challenge on Son, which again the referee let go.
Yeah, and he had a really good first half, Ben White. You've got to say it's the first time I've had a real good look at him in a red shirt, and yeah, he looks good. He looks comfortable. He's on the front foot. He's going to complement whoever plays next to him in the side. I think Pablo Marie will probably start the season because we know Gabriel's got an injury. It'll be interesting to see which one of those get to partner Ben, because it's going to be definitely a stronger central defence this season for Arsenal.
Well, with an injury on Olympic duty with Brazil just before the Olympics started, out for a number of weeks, is what we know from the club. Son's corner. It was Marie with the header. Shot from distance through a sea of bodies. It was Reggie on the left back who just ghosted into an unmarked area to have a crack.
It's a really good delivery. It actually, Son gets it up and down, almost like a free kick, Russ, you know, when they get it over the wall, and it's dipping onto the edge of that 6-yard box, begging for someone to get on the end of it. Really good delivery.
Good back-heeled block in the end by Emile Smith-Rowe. Son from the other side. Xhaka up there, I think, who won that one in the air. Davinson Sanchez, the Colombian, making a nuisance of himself.
Yeah, well, Son does shuttles across the pitch.
Busy man.
Well, he was busy in the first half. I mean, the positions he gets himself in the box when he backs into the defenders, and the defenders are so worried of him, they have to, you know, not put their feet in the way, be careful and be respectful of him. And he set up the chance for Dele Alli, didn't he?
Excellent play by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg once more. Finds Son in space. Tierney trying to shackle him as best he can. Oh, and he does so well, Kieran Tierney. That could have been very, very problematic.
Yeah, he kept his eye on the ball well. Tierney could have well gone for the first fake, although I think Son was waiting for an overlap to come just to double up on Tierney, but it didn't, so he had to take it on his own. But good defending from the Scottish Arsenal defender.
Well, to go. The dipping delivery. Mora nearly got a second bite at the cherry. but he just ghosted into an offside position second time around. And Arsenal again, given the fact they did concede a couple of goals against Rangers, I think it was, wasn't it, in pre-season from corners. Not doing too badly, I would say, so far in that regard today, particularly against a good quality corner taker.
Yeah, there was 3 really good deliveries there, and Arsenal coped, dealt with them. It's something that other managers will look at though, and try to pick up opportunities from Arsenal in that position. Great ball from Tierney there to Aubameyang.
Here is Oba for that fizzing delivery across the 6-yard box as he lost his balance. Unfortunately, the support not quite there, and just didn't quite have the pace to turn his man. But still, that's something to build from, and it's Arsenal's first meaningful move of the second half. Spurs did in the first. It's now Arsenal who switched that plan of attack laterally from left to right. Up against Ali, who's on that yellow card, so has to be careful. Owen run a corner, he has. First half, his future very much in question, Hector Bellerin, but Reguilon and Ali there did well.
I think at the moment his competition really is only Cedric. I know there's other players that can play in that position, but I wouldn't say the writing's on the wall yet for Hector Bellerin, because we all know a few good performances. Oh, there's a good chance.
Deflected shot from Bellerin, spinning left, right and centre. Such a difficult ball for Aubameyang to try and bring down. And surprisingly, he couldn't quite do so, but nearly a good chance.
Yeah, I think he potentially might have been offside, but again, it's a bit like Lacazette's volley in the first half. Although that was a clean ball in and it was more difficult than that chance, he's leaning away from it, isn't he? He's not made it easy, but I think he'll feel that was a chance. Russ, he's only got to get his foot on it and a clean contact.
Smacked Ollie Skip in the chest, so I think having hit a Spurs player last, he probably would have been onside unless he was off before the shot was initially struck. But anyway, as you rightly say, for a man of Oba's quality, just like Lacazette in the first half with the one over his shoulder, they fancy themselves to score these tricky goals, particularly these instinctive goals, because that's the real quality that these guys have, isn't it?
Yeah, and the instinctive goals are the ones you need to break deadlocks sometimes, when there's not the opportunity for that quality through ball, or the up, back and through, or to build and to expose a team because they're defending so well. You just need that killer pass and that exquisite finish that's only going to be 1 in every 10 you're going to get, but you need, that could be the one today.
Then from Bergvin there, and Tierney for once taken out of the game. Bellerin, even though he didn't do a lot, just helped shepherd that one back, and had that through ball found either white shirt, Arsenal could have been in trouble, but they get away with it. Certain there that Lokonga had his shirt tugged. Referee Coop plays advantage. Fortunately, it's not an advantage that aids Arsenal in the end, but Lacazette does brilliantly. He is hungry. He wants to stay at this club, as you alluded to.
Well, you can't argue with his... Well, he's just his energy there. He wants to play, doesn't he? Like you said, he's not sitting back on his laurels. He's had a few opportunities today and not scored. He could easily... What's going on there with Højbjerg and Arteta just having words?
Højbjerg is saying that Arteta has said something, I think. Just the fact that they were too close. I suppose Arteta had just edged maybe to the very white line of his technical area at that point.
I just think Højbjerg's telling him to get back in his box, because he's not allowed to be on there. Yeah, and
I've often said it to you metaphorically.
In fairness, I can see a little bit of the point of the players trying to keep the ball in play or make a sliding tackle, and he's in his eye line. He sees someone standing less than a metre away from the edge of the pitch.
Arteta's argument is at that point he was still, I think, on the absolute cusp. It was only afterwards that he stepped further away.
It's still very close. If you're a player and Russ, you know your momentum's going to carry you off the pitch into that body that's there, or because you don't necessarily know who it is. You'll just see a figure there, and in that split second, it might affect what you do.
So if you're legally in the area, you should be just.
Well, maybe they should bring it back a little bit more to a full players, a little bit more room there, because I can see his point. The manager's in his area. the player knows that he's going to be carried from the pitch into that technical area. He can't stop in the yard. So there's a bit of a grey area, but it's also... It's a little bit of a play between them both, isn't it, as well? A little bit of gamesmanship as well. That's always going to factor into the game.
It's like Unai Emery before him. Mikel Arteta also loves to use, let's say, every inch of his technical area, and definitely sometimes go beyond. We know that. That's fine, as you rightly allude to, when there's open play and no problem, but...
Some situations it's going to be an opportunity for a bit of gamesmanship between the player and the manager, you know, and it might give the team the edge. One point it might wind the player up in the opposition. You know, the manager is still part of the team as well, Russ. He's still trying to win the game for the team.
Quite a recently retired manager as a player as well, where those juices still flow, and I'm sure that fire as an ex-pro still burns, just like it does with you, Dave, even though you've been gone a few years longer.
I can imagine the ball coming in and me thinking there's a 50-50 on here, and then hold on a minute, I'm not actually playing in this game. You know, I'm the manager.
They're in to Pepe. Bearing created a bit of space. Just again, that final ball lacked both purpose and accuracy. Yeah,
but he also needs someone to dictate to him in the box, make a run that he cannot refuse to pass to, Russ, you know. But Ober is hanging around at the back. If he arrives late...
Slightly sloppy trip there. And it's going to be the first Arsenal booking, and it's going to be Kieran Tierney, who just stuck out a little sliver of a boot and upended his man off the ball.
Yeah, it was a little bit cheeky, wasn't it? I think the referee's punished him for that. As we've seen, he's been letting fair challenges go. Oh, that one's not the greatest from Granit Xhaka.
Work from Skip, and then Xhaka comes steaming in, and all of a sudden Arsenal have had back-to-back bookings in the space of 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think the referee's just trying to get a handle back on this game after a couple of challenges. This one... Yeah, I think that's pretty much on par with the challenge we saw in the first half from Dele Alli when he slides in.
Totally agree. Totally agree. You said at that point it's a North London derby. It might be a pre-season game, but Skip refusing to really accept Xhaka's apology there.
Players always see things from different sides of it, and I think Ollie Skip's being pretty sensible there. He's just agreeing to disagree, isn't he, and walk away. But that could have been naughty from Granit, but he saw it coming. The referees encouraged challenges in this game, and the players are accepting it, which is good to see. It is making the game a little bit more lively, and also you question whether you can tackle someone or not, or what they're going to do, and are you going to get tackled from behind. It opens the game up.
Fairly dramatic weather change in that heavy rain stopped at half-time, and the ground was two-thirds bathed in sun for a bit. Winks and Mr. Sissoko, who are available, haven't had much of a look in these 9 series pre-season games. A little bit like with Arsenal, we can infer perhaps a few of those key players that will be part of the opening Premier League weekend. We can maybe infer something similar for Tottenham as well. Chelsea, another man on the bench today who's not seen much game time. Is Marie just standing his ground there or not? The referee says not.
Well, I think the referee's got that dead right. Pablo Mari, he's got a small case, but he has been turned and nutmegged by some great bit of skill from Dele Alli, who really would deserve to be on the other side of it, you know, and he should do after a piece of skill. He was stopped by Marie, so I don't think there's any arguing about that. Great piece of skill from the Tottenham player.
He will say that he didn't really move his location, but yeah, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
And once more, from surely a very position. Sit in. Oh my goodness, Ali for the second time in the game rattles the post, the same inside of the left post, one at either end of the ground. Arsenal clinging on. Still it's goalless, but really cut open there.
Yeah, it was a vicious delivery from Son again. Had that dip and swerve, got all the way to the far post, and Dele Alli's timing was perfect at the far post. He's managed to get a toe on it, but yeah, he's been defeated again by the woodwork.
Tandanga taking his man out again. He's got to be careful. Pablo Mori, after the last couple of minutes, taken quickly to Sergio Reguilon. Bergwijn is absolutely screaming for the ball and wasn't found on the edge of the penalty area. Ali now looks for Højbjerg and overhits it. It's not necessarily just Arsenal that are taking some of these wrong options at pre-season time.
Oh, it's close, isn't it, from Ali? It's a really good header, first of all, from Sanchez. And that's what I'm on about when Arsenal need to attack that ball. You see Dyer and Sanchez getting up. They make that big effort first, and there's spillages after. But Tottenham couldn't capitalise on it. Arsenal need to step it up, though. 15 minutes this half. They've not quite got to where they was in the first half in terms of dominance.
See much of Hugo Lloris, or indeed Spurs in a defensive sense in this second half so far, as the sun comes out again from behind the clouds. The other pre-season games for both teams have seen a number of subs from half-time onward. Interesting that we've not seen any yet in this last one, with over an hour gone. Seriously doing our sums, and by the way, as things stand, it would be Chelsea that take the Mine Series pre-season tournament. But if either Arsenal or Spurs finish with an aplomb and bang in 4+ goals, they could yet nick it themselves, but safe to say that's not looking too likely. This effort from distance from the new man Lokonga. Playing well. Dyer that Lokonga thumped with that shot. In fact, it was Skip who actually got hit with one earlier in the half as well, but he's back on his feet. A lovely through ball, Arsenal cut open. Here's Reguilon. Bergwijn's calling for it. So close from Sergio Reguilon to the opening goal. Bergwijn in the end almost acting as the foil to free the space. Spaniard mightily close.
Yeah, again, it was that area behind Hector Bellerin. When Hector goes in and Ben White's forced out, there's a space down that channel and he's doubled up on. He can't get to the shot, but I think it's the right thing to do by Reguilon, because Bergwijn is not able to move anywhere or find any space in the box. And it's a good strike by the Tottenham player, goes wide. Era, the first of the few changes that you said hadn't come yet, Russ. An hour, I think, though, is pretty good for a pre-season game to have none.
Absolutely. Ben White, as you can see, coming off. Callum Chambers will be coming on, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles. And I'm pretty sure I just caught the head of Bukayo Saka popping out from the parapet as well. So Chambers for White. He's one of the players who started the defeat to Chelsea, but not this one. And yes, Bukayo Saka will be coming on with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Ainsley, of course, on loan at West Brom for much of last season and back. Bukayo Saka, as we well know, after the Euros, is back, and this is a wonderful thing to see, and a great reception from everybody. Spurs fans, the lot in this stadium, and after what this incredibly talented teenager has done for both club and for country. One missed penalty for England in a Euro final changes none of that. He's a wonderful young man, a great asset, and it's great to see Bukayo Saka back onto a professional football field.
Yeah, and he absolutely deserves that that clap, that ovation he got from all the supporters, because, you know, you've got to recognise what he's achieved. What he achieved last year for Arsenal, and then to get in the England squad, and then to play so well for England. He got man of the match I think in the first game he played, Russ. You know, he's a young lad, and to carry all of that with the dignity that he has, and just the humility, because he's not a big-timer player. He's very, very understated off the pitch. It's great to see him getting that accolade.
Back to that in a moment. Son's effort, well blocked by Chambers. First contribution from the former Southampton man was a good one. Callum is part of the first team fold this season, certainly starting-wise. Will be interesting to see. he is a right-back option, depending what happens to Bayern. We know he can play centre-half. We know, of course, as he did on loan at Fulham, he can be quite effective in front of the back four too. Maybe not where Arteta sees him, but he's just that kind of important player now for these 45 minutes that you said about where he fits in for the campaign ahead.
Yeah, definitely. You know, see Chambers coming in at that right-sided on the back now. He can do a job there. I think he won't be looking to further his career anywhere else, because I think he'll get plenty of game time for Arsenal. Injuries, maybe formation changes, but that man on the ball, Saka, I think he's going to be more important. And from the point of view of what he brings out of Lacazette and how he links with Pepe and Smith Rowe, how them four played at the end of the season together, at times, you know, looked almost like, to me, like a future for the forward line of this club.
Saka, that wall of support that Arsenal put together for him, from all the letters, all the messages of support, amid the backdrop of, from a minority, but still that violent, ignorant abuse. It was wonderful to see, and to light that young man up, build his positivity as he walked back into the club a few days ago. Absolutely superb. And here he is back on the field. He's had one touch so far. Right, Aubameyang and Bayer and the other two players to come off. Changes so far. Xhaka maybe wanted Saka to make a little run forward there.
Yeah, he was looking for some, but it's really tight in there. He was looking for a little intricate pass, wanting to play off the front, but Saka's found good space now.
He would have been a fairy tale if he'd leathered that into the top corner, but I think he's managed to win a corner.
Yeah, he just got behind Tanganga there, and it was a good recovery from the Tottenham defender in the end. But he just shows you, then he just creeps into those positions. He's already influencing the attack. He's only been on the pitch for a couple of minutes.
Touched on, it could have been an absolutely mind-breaking thing to miss a decisive penalty in a European Championship final, but the way he has carried himself and the way he's come back and the way he's looking already here bodes so well, and it's massive kudos to him. Maitland-Niles dinks it in, looking for Chambers. Now, hopefully from Arsenal's point of view, that's still a corner rather than the foul as Chambers tried to shoot.
I think he might have given the foul, actually, and it was a bit of a limp foul to give away as well.
There,
yeah, I think he almost half had, but still left his leg in, and it was unfortunate.
We mentioned that Giovanni Lo Celso, the Argentine, hasn't had much of a look in. He now gets his chance, and Emil Højbjerg comes off. That's certainly a change in physicality from the giant Danish figure to the slightly more diminutive playmaker. Højbjerg, as you can see, a big fan favourite. Another change will be the keeper. Hugo Lloris, the skipper, off, and Pierluigi Golini, 26-year-old on loan from Atalanta, good keeper, played in their draw against Chelsea in midweek. I presume Lloris will start the season, but I believe he's actually played more over these two games. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'll start the season. I think it's just, you know, you don't know what his preparation was before this game. He's only just come back into the squad, hasn't he, after the Euro. So,
but even though most would say certainly it wasn't his best season last year.
No. But I think you've still got to prepare you know, he's been away for a long time away from the squad, longer than all the rest of the players. So when he comes back in, he gets a little taster. He's going to be sore even after that. I know he's a goalkeeper, but he will, you know, he would have done things in this game, and he'd have stretched things, and he'd have, you know, put himself in positions, and he'll need a couple of days recovery, just like the players will. Maybe not as much, because obviously he ain't covering 12k or whatever, but he's still, you know, in the framework of the game, working hard. So he needs to recover like all the others, but he'll start the season, no doubt about that.
Statement if he didn't. I can safely say that as well, as Nuno Espirito.
Well, they need a big goalkeeper to replace him before. You know, you can't just put your reserve goalkeeper in and say that's okay.
This guy's good. I mean, he's had a very good record in Italy. He's probably a notch above some of the second choices that have kind of been there, nurdling behind.
I think as a goalkeeper, though, it's pretty hard to take if someone just comes straight into the club from out of nowhere and jumps straight into your position without, you know, being fed into it over a few months. And Leno did
exactly. But so I say that he was just eased in, wasn't he, over a few months behind Peter Cech.
Yeah.
Ending there, Pepe doing his best to try and engineer a corner. Not quite to be. Quick word, David, on the other man that came on, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, on loan at West Brom for a lot of last season. Great, I hate to use the term, but he is a great utility man. He can play about 4 positions well. Where does he stand for you on if one or two more Arsenal first-team squad members need to be sold to bring in funds, mix things up, so on? Is he one for you that's got a first-team future?
Well, from what I can gather, I'll just wait to see if this goes in. From what I can gather, Russ, about Arsenal and the way they conduct business is they're not going to force anyone to stay at the club who doesn't want to be here, first and foremost. So it will be the player's decision. So he's got to make a decision. Am I going to get in the side enough? Have I got what it takes to become a regular player here? Do I want to fight for my position? So he's got questions to answer. I don't think the club has. The club would love to keep him because he is a fantastic squad player. There's no doubt about that. Any manager would love to have him in there. But it's ultimately going to be the player's decision. And I think he's an Arsenal boy. I think he'll give it another crack before he makes that decision to move away from the club.
I agree with you. Arsenal not a million miles away, but this Spurs counter-attack has been promising, and it is Lo Celso with a mazy direct run who sets up Son. And Son Heung-min will be really disappointed with that, man. Such quality when it comes to his finishes, but that was poor.
Yeah, it's good play from Lo Celso to open the game up. Xhaka's showing him down that side onto his right foot, and he doesn't really get close enough for me, Xhaka, and Son's off target, but it's opportunity. It must have got a deflection there because
Ben White just got a block. I think it was probably going wide anyway.
Yeah.
But White clearly would not have known that and made an excellent block just to make sure, and actually did well. Full effort from distance from Dele Alli. Hit that first time on the half volley. Not far away, and would have been an absolutely sensational goal had he steered it in.
Yes, and it was probably the most difficult of his chances, wasn't it? And he nearly got it on the half volley and brought it back in.
Very good effort. Next game for Dele Alli, we can safely say, but there's been moments to show that maybe his renaissance, his comeback of recent times is continuing and might continue to be thus under Nuno. Mohamed El Neni will be coming onto the field. It's been a positive start, I would say, from Albert Sambi Lokonga. What would you say?
Yeah, I think he probably tired a little bit in the second half, if I'm totally honest. You know, he didn't get in the game as much, but the whole Arsenal side have not been in the game as much second half. But certainly, first half, I thought he showed really good qualities. He played high up the pitch. He played well off of Xhaka, and I think he'll do well. He's a big leggy player. He's the kind of player Arsenal need in there.
Exciting to see what this young striker can do. I'm a big fan of following Balogun. Comes on for Alexandre Lacazette. Of course, no Eddie Nketiah at the moment. Like Partey, he picked up an ankle injury against Chelsea and is out for about 4 weeks, but I see Rodon come on for Sanchez for Spurs. I'm excited about what Balogun might do.
Yeah, he's been on the fringe, hasn't he, for a season or two now, and
still so young though.
I know, but he's had opportunities in Europa, and for me, he's done okay, but he hasn't brought that X factor that he needs to bring to break into the squad. You've got to remember, he's got to get past Lacazette, Aubameyang and Nketiah, and until you bang 2 or 3 goals in 2 or 3 games and the opportunities you get, it ain't going to happen. That's the problem. He's under pressure now. Even in a pre-season game, he's got to score today if he wants to be involved next week.
Great play from Pepe, brought down pretty ruthlessly by Reguilon, we can say, and that is quite rightly a yellow card. Super control from the Ivorian on the far touchline here. This is beautiful.
Yeah, he just watched it over his shoulder.
This is just so cynical.
Lovely, wasn't it? And the thing is, Reguilon's got Dele Alli there standing in the box, so there's nowhere for Pepe to go. Maybe he saw Dele Alli and thought, I don't want Dele to make a challenge, so I'm better off doing it outside of the box.
Getting myself booked instead
of giving away a pen. But still a good position for Arsenal.
And with Ali on a yellow card, that would have been potentially a red.
Yeah. But Good position for Arsenal, though.
So in the first half, Smith Rowe and Pepe over it. Smith Rowe takes this one. It's overhit, but at least Chambers keeps possession. Xhaka beats Lo Celso, all ends up. It's all about the quality once more of that final through ball. Oh, just couldn't quite gather it, Bukayo Saka there under pressure from Skip, who did well. Get that timing of his challenge absolutely perfect, and to his credit, he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a slide rule pass into Saka, who he's deadly when he's receiving the ball from the side or behind, and yeah, it's good defending, good position to get yourself in.
We've seen those two combine nicely, effectively. One is almost a wing back and the other is the left side of a back three, or whether it's the two out wide, one in front of the other. Looked good until the last moment, but Spurs failed to quite counter-attack. And Lucas has actually quietened down a fair bit, hasn't he, after that very, very promising start?
Yeah, and he can be a dangerous player. He's got good pace, great skill here, just takes it past Mo Elneny, slides it down the line, and he looks for the 1-2 off of Son. Doesn't get the pass he wants, but you know, he can be such a dangerous player when he's on his form.
We are effectively three at the back now, aren't we, with Chambers alongside Murray and Tierney, and then Maitland-Niles and Saka as two wing-backs in almost a 3-4-3.
Yeah, it's just as the team shuffle over and attack one side, they'll utilise that fullback as an attacking player, so drop into free. And I think that's where people like Granit Xhaka, you know, come in really handy, because of he can just drop back into that hole when Tierney and Saka, you know, shoot off up the line as they are. You'll see, there we see, look, Xhaka fell into the left back position beautifully, and that's what you need to do. And then going back forward again, Xhaka, that's the good movement we need. It's what we saw in the Euros from him. You know, he'd done a bit of defending, but he also done that offensive game that not all of us we've not all seen that from Xhaka.
Maybe right wing back when that formation is employed is possibly Maitland-Niles' best chance still to get into the Arsenal first team.
But it's the transition between the midfielder filling in, the fullback going's got to be right. In the first half, we saw Bellerin get a little bit exposed and force Ben White into playing, you know, going really wide. It's just, they'll get used to that. The more Arteta drums it home, the more he drills them on it in training.
For me, right side of a back three when you need it is probably Chambers' best position. It just fits him just best and doesn't quite expose maybe a slight lack of pace as much as being an out-and-out right back does, and not positionally as much as if he's playing as part of a two in the centre halves.
Yeah, and doesn't put that pressure on him to go forward and support the play either on the right side, because without the pace, you know, a big lad running up and down, you can get it can take it out of you, and then someone at the other end decides to run you just after you've tried to run at that end. I don't know if he's got the energy levels for that. So yeah, I think slotting inside and making that third defender is probably more suited.
Play from Elneny there, just waited for the play to come to him and made one very decisive interception. Saka tried to almost just look one way and give the ball the other to Nicola Pepe. Didn't quite work, but Saka full of confidence and tricks. Not quite coming off yet, but still got 12 minutes of this one, plus of course the full season ahead for him. Can't wait.
You got to remember, I know he played in the Euro, so he's not been out of football long, but he's been away from his teammates. Only been in training for I don't know, maybe a few days, a week at the most. So he's just getting back in tune with them. But he's looking positive with the passes he is trying to do, the positions he's taken up.
Through ball from Mora. Looks like Lo Celso is onside. Murray's back. Chambers with the interception. Route one, but effective. Pepe decides to keep it in play, but is now under pressure from Tang.
คนเป็นยังไงกันบ้างทำให้การดำเนินงานของโรงพยาบาลสนามแห่งนี้เป็นไปอย่างเรียบร้อยและดูอบอุ่นด้วยนะครับซึ่งนอกจากนี้ทางทีมแพทย์พยาบาลที่มีความสามารถในการสวดมนต์หรือประกอบพิธีสงฆ์หรือบางคนเคยบวชเรียนมาก่อนเนี่ยก็มาสวดมนต์ด้วย
นำสวดอะไรมาน
ำสวดมาช่วงเย็นในทุกวันพระอย่างเงี้ยก็นำเลยนะฮะเพื่อให้แต่ละคนเนี่ยสงบจิตสงบใจแล้วก็เป็นความสบายใจแล้วก็เป็นมงคลให้กับแต่ละคนด้วยนี่นะครับ
คือช่วงนี้หลายคนนะคะเราโดยเฉพาะผู้ป่วยที่ติดโควิด -19 เนาะถ้าไม่ได้ทำอะไรอยู่เฉยๆนั่งๆนอนๆก็เครียด
บางทีก็จะกังวล
ต้องหากิจกรรมทำนะคะแต่ว่าอีกเรื่องนึงนะคะเห็นภาพเห็นคลิปแล้วเครียดเลยนะคะคือในโซเชียลเนี่ยเขาแชร์คลิปแม่ค้าที่ขายของในตลาดถนนคนเดินจุดชมวิวสะพานมิตรภาพไทยลาวแห่งที่2เหมือนปะทะคารมกับทางเจ้าหน้าที่เนี่ยแจ้งบอกว่าให้ปิดร้านแล้วตามในคลิปเนี่ยเห็นบอกว่ามีการไปยึดเครื่องมือหากินของเขาด้วย
ไม่ให้ขาย
เนี่ยค่ะแล้วทีนี้คือเหมือนแม่ค้าก็ไม่พอใจเหมือนมีการเคลื่องสิ่งของบางอย่างคือเหมือนพยายามจะบอกให้เจ้าหน้าที่เนี่ยช่วยเข้าใจพวกเขาหน่อย
fullback option within the first team squad at the moment. Sign from South. Absolutely superb. One way and give the ball the other to Nicola Pepe, but the Chelsea once more. He's done well since coming on. Tanganga under pressure, stays on his feet, gets around Murray. Here's Son. You've got to say it's been coming. Spurs mightily impressive in recent minutes. And
I say, Russ, it's a really shame Arsenal didn't take advantage of one of their opportunities in the first half, because to lose this game is not going to be an easy pill to swallow. I know it's a friendly game, but it is Tottenham, and they did deserve more in that first half period. So I'd like to see them get back at least on level terms with Tottenham. I think that'll be a fair result, but you've got to say second half Tottenham have certainly asked more questions in and around Arsenal's box.
As things stand, it would be Chelsea and Tottenham with a win and a draw each in the Mind series, and Arsenal, I'm afraid, with 2 narrow defeats, which would clearly put them bottom, and Chelsea, by my sums, would still take it on goals scored, because there are extra points up for grabs for scoring goals. But losing to your North London rivals in any game, plus also we don't know how key it would be, but that slight question mark, that slight doubt, that slight loss of momentum heading into a season in just 5 days' time.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you talk about loss of momentum, Arsenal really, if you went results based, they've not really done much pre-season results based, to
but then they finished the Premier League with 5 straight wins. So
exactly. Yeah. So the modern player looks at these like training games, not so much as a reader for the season like back in our day. Yeah. You did kind of look at it of how your season was going to go.
A man who's had as much as he would have liked under either Jose Mourinho toward the end, or perhaps in pre-season. On comes the England midfielder Harry Winks for his fellow youngster and academy graduate Ollie Skip. Winks really needs a good few minutes, doesn't he, to prove his point moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, Harry Winks as well, and potentially, his future with England and this country, but he really needs to pull it out in the Tottenham shirt now, because his future is not guaranteed there.
His work is done. And even though he perhaps wasn't quite as clinical as he would like by his lofty standards, he scored the only goal, and he is a very, very impressive player, and off scoring, I'm afraid, against his North London rivals. He's a talented young player in his own right, who's worth keeping an eye on. Already scored a goal in pre-season. The youngster Scarlett scored in a draw against Leyton Orient, which was kind of a second team match for Spurs earlier in the campaign, but on he comes.
Settle, you bring away. Is that all you bring away? Oh, is that all?
Potentially here from Arsenal. Ball flick through. Really was a good chance. Just not quite meant to be. Arsenal stretching things at one end. Hopefully not going to be caught at the other. They are just going through one or two gears once more, and at least not dying wondering in this game as Smith Rowe finds Saka. Oh, Bukayo Saka just tried to guide it past Galini. He did a tiny bit more power, but he was off balance, and that wonderful young double act of Smith Rowe and Saka nearly delivered.
Yeah, cuts in from the right hand side. Smith Rowe drives in, and that little ball through, and Saka would be disappointed. He don't catch it clean. It's coming across him. He certainly had some opportunities.
Anger down, receiving a bit of treatment, and yeah, Dane Scarlett is the youngster coming on, we should say, a moment ago, wearing 53. Did score that goal at the start of pre-season. Wasn't actually listed as part of the bench that we had for the game, but there's obviously been a slight tweak there. And he has come. Whether maybe or not, the Chelsea was marginally offside in the build-up there. This is the one, isn't it, where Pepe could maybe have just let it go.
Yeah. And it's a good finish from Son in the end.
As last season, winning 2-0 at home through Son and Kane last December. And then in the March at Emirates Stadium, Odegaard and Lacazette with the goals as the Gunners won 2-1. Advantage in recent times, including this pre-season game, seems to give you just enough of an edge. Tanganga off. Serge Aurier, another Ivorian and excellent experienced player. Not a bad figure to bring on for the final few minutes.
Yeah, well, he was played more often than not there, didn't he, last season in the Premier League? So, yeah, I was as surprised as anyone to see the other Tanganga starting in front of him.
And you've got Matt Doherty as well, of course, who played in the previous game against Chelsea.
Yeah, so it's there have been quite a few changes from Nuno in his starting lineup. He's mixed it up. He's given players like Dele Alli another chance to get himself in the squad, and that's what happens when a new manager comes. There's opportunities for everyone in the squad, and he sees it through a different set of eyes, doesn't he? And sees the players through a different set of eyes. So you've got a clean sheet.
2.5 minutes plus time added on for Arsenal to hopefully do something. By the way, that Maitland-Niles has now gone infield, hasn't he, to his other, probably most accomplished position of central midfield since Cedric Suarez came onto the field. From Saka, fed by the most recent Arsenal arrival, Reece Nelson. I haven't seen a huge amount of Nelson till then, but neat little turn to again try and free his fellow youngster, and we should emphasise just what a good relationship 5 or 6 of these Arsenal players now into their kind of late teens, early 20s have, all from coming through at various levels of the age group system together.
Yeah, well, the Hale End boys, exactly. I think they call them. Yeah, and it's been a pretty decent production line over the last few seasons, and yeah, to develop those players and to see them come into the first team squad must be great satisfaction for the coaches at that academy level as well, Russ. And I think in today's game you can see the benefit. Just look at Jack Grealish. He was at Villa since he was like 6 or 7, and ultimately he's given them £100 million in their coffers. He's put 3 players on the table for that club, and he just shows you what the investment in youngsters in your club can do. with money to spare. Yeah. He's had success. He's going to have success himself. So everyone's a winner when young players come through, and these guys we see at Arsenal, they just need to take the team forward.
Speaking of young players, here's Nuno Tavares, the other summer addition, came on a few minutes ago for Tierney and did really well there. It was a great bit of close control and great confidence and strength to take a couple of Spurs players out of the game. In the end, Lo Celso intervenes and Arsenal get the throw, but it's not just Saka and Tierney down this left-hand side. Maybe this young man Tavares could be one to reckon with for the future as well.
โอเคครับเวลาก็ใกล้จะหมดแล้วตอนนี้อาร์เซนอลก็ตามสเปอร์อยู่ที่0-1นะครับอาร์เซนอลก็ฟอร์มครึ่งหลังตั้งแต่เปลี่ยนตัวมาไม่ว่าจะเป็นเอลลินี่ชาก้าเมเลนายบาเลกุลนะครับอาจจะเรียกบาโลกันนะก็ลูกเกมเปลี่ยนไปเยอะครับจากครึ่งแรกส่วนสเปอร์ก็เปลี่ยนครับเปลี่ยนไม่กี่ตำแหน่งครับโดต้องบอกว่าจังหวะที่ซองเฮอร์มินยิงลูกนั้นนี่แบบสวยงามมากยิงด้วยซ้ายเลยนะแล้วแบบยิงด้วยซ้ายเข้าเสาแรกมุมกว้างมากนะแต่จริงๆลูกนั้นน่าจะจริงๆแบรนเลโน่ของเราน่าจะเซฟได้นะแต่ว่าถึงจะเจาะก็เถอะนะผมว่านะแต่ระดับเบรเลโน่ถ้ามั่นใจลูกนั้นเซฟได้แน่นอนแต่ปรากฏว่าเบรเลโน่เซฟไม่ได้ครับไม่ได้อคติเบรเลโน่หรืออะไรนะแต่ว่าลูกการนี้เบรเลโน่น่าจะมีปัญหาจะจบแล้วเนาะเพื่อนๆถ้าคนไหนสนใจอยากฟังท้ายเกมต่อนิดหน่อยก็ฟังก็ได้นะนี่ก็ขอ947 คนที่เข้ามาดูแล้วครับตอนนี้ก็ขอบคุณมากๆครับมาลองสเปอร์ขึ้นมาทางกาบขวากาบซ้ายครับพอดีครับอาร์เซนอลเปลี่ยนอันนี้มาแล้วฟิลิปโซเลสลงมาตอนนี้พอดีไม่ได้โฟกัสเอาแล้วครับ90+3 นาทีครับตอนนี้เข้าสู่นาที91แล้วมีโอกาสได้บอมด้วยครับทางสเปอร์บาโลกุลครับมีลงมาก็ได้เห็นอยู่นะว่ามีความใหญ่มีความไวส่วนมีจังหวะหนึ่งครับสมิธโลตัดล่างมาจากกลางสนามส่งให้ซาก้าครับยิงด้วยขวาข้างไม่ถนัดแต่ซาก้าถนัด2 เท้านะแต่ยิงไม่ดีครับยิงเบาแต่โอเคครับมันก็ไม่เข้านั่นแหละโอเคตอนนี้ก็รออย่างจบอย่างเป็นทางการเนาะไม่น่ามีปาฏิหาริย์อะไรเกิดขึ้นสำหรับอาร์เซนอลแล้วสเปอร์โค้ชใหม่ผู้เล่นใหม่ก็ถือว่าดีนะวันนี้เนี่ยกล้องจับมาเบเลโน่รู้สึกนี้แต่ยังไม่เข้าที่นะทั้งที่ไปฟุตบอลยูโรก็ไม่ได้เล่นสักนาทีเนาะแล้วก็รู้สึกว่ามันส่วนตัวกูว่ายังคิดถึงมาร์ตินเนสอยู่นะแต่ว่ามันจบไปแล้วมันผ่านมาแล้วออกไปครับไดเออร์ถ้าเจอไดเออร์ลองยิงนะสเปอร์ก็เซนเตอร์ก็เปลี่ยนไปเยอะนะครับล่าสุดก็เพิ่งเสียเบลเยียมไปใครนะล็อกชื่ออะไรนะกูลืมชื่อนึงที่เป็นกองหลังเซนเตอร์เบลเยียมเนี่ยเพิ่งย้ายไปนั่นก็เคยอยู่ซาร์ตันนี่มีกองเซนเตอร์ดีๆหลายคนน่าจะเปิดมาแล้วก็จบกับเบเลโน่ครับ2 นัดล่าสุดที่อาร์เซนอลอุ่นเครื่องกับลอนดอนครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นเชลซีหรือก็สเปอร์ครับโค้ชใหม่ทั้ง2ครับโค้ชใหม่ทั้ง2อาร์เซนอลไม่ชนะเลยครับในผลงานอาร์เตต้าแล้วก็ที่สำคัญยิงประตูไม่ได้ครับยิงประตูไม่ได้จบแล้วนะอาร์เซนอลครับจบแล้วก็อาร์เซนอลมีโปรแกรมเตะวันศุกร์ที่จะถึงนี้นะครับวันศุกร์เที่ยงคืนนะครับวันศุกร์ตี 2คือวันศุกร์ก็รอชมได้นะรอชมได้เจอทีมเป็นฟอร์ดหรือเปล่าครับจำไม่ผิดนะออกไปเยือนนะออกไปเยือนเป็นฟอร์ดเดี๋ยวลองเช็คอีกทีหนึ่งนะครับมีบรรดาแฟนๆตีซองฮึนมินก็พิสูจน์ได้นะครับว่ายังไงอ่ะก็พิสูจน์ได้ชัดเจนว่าไม่มีแฮร์รี่เคนก็ยังสามารถเล่นได้ครับเล่นแทนแล้วก็เป็นตัวความหวังของทีมอาร์เซนอลนัดเปิดสนามเนาะจะเจอวันศุกร์13โอ้โหศุกร์13นะโอเคเดี๋ยวเราคุยนิดหน่อยกุ๊กขอแป๊บหนึ่งชึบกุ๊กจำได้ว่าศุกร์13เปิดฤดูกาลแล้ว อ๋อมันคือวันเสาร์โทษทีคืนวันศุกร์เช้าวันเสาร์ก็คือวันศุกร์ก็แหละอาร์เซนอลเยือนแบดฟอร์ดนั่นเป็นน้องใหม่แมนยูเจอลีดโอ้โหแมนยูอุ่นเครื่องมาฟอร์มดีเชลซีเจอคริสตัลพาเลซลอนดอนซอธแฮมป์ตันเจอกับเอเวอร์ตันวัตฟอร์ดวิลล่าวัตฟอร์ดก็กลับขึ้นมานะวิลล่าไม่มีแจ็คกิลิตแล้วก็ซื้อตัวเยอะลิเวอร์พูลซื้อเจอออกไปเยือนนอริทอุ้ยนัดแรกของสเปอร์เจอแมนซิตี้เพิ่งแพ้มานั้นอุ่นเครื่องไม่อุ่นเครื่องคอมมิวชิลเพิ่งแพ้เลสเตอร์มาเจอสเปอร์โอเคเพื่อนๆรู้สึกยังไงหลังจากจบเกมเดี๋ยวกูลองดูหน่อยดูเผื่อมีแชทวันนี้อาร์เซนอลจบแล้วนะครับขอบคุณทั้งหมด976คนที่แวะเข้ามาดูการรายงานสดเนาะก็ไล่ไปทีละช็อตแล้วกันนี่คนนี้สำหรับกุ๊กวันนี้เล่นดีมากกุ๊กน่าจะยกให้เป็น Man of the Match เลยอะยกให้เป็น Man of the Match เลยสำหรับเชนี่ของอาร์เซนอลนะถึงแพ้ก็เถอะเล่นดีรับดีบุกดีแล้วก็ซองเฮอร์มินแมตช์แรกของสเปอร์ควรยกเป็นแมตช์ออฟเดอะแมตช์ซะของนัดนี้เป็นคนสร้างโอกาสแรกๆให้แอดลี่แล้วก็เป็นคนยิงประตูด้วยเท้าซ้ายสุดสวยซองเฮอร์มินนี่ก็เอาจริงก็ยิงน่อนทีอยู่นะลูกครั้งล่าสุดก็เคยยิงน่อนไกลๆใส่เลโน่ปัดเข้าในยิงด้วยขวาฟองนันโดจริงครับแม่ส่วนแบรนเลโน่กูว่าซีซั่นนี้ไม่กล้าพูดไปแต่ว่าก็ซีซั่นนี้แบรนเลโน่มีปัญหาและตำแหน่งผู้สับตัวซันมีปัญหาก่อนหน้านี้อาร์เซนอลอุ่นเครื่องไม่ว่าจะทีมเล็กทีมใหญ่ยังไงผู้สับประตูมือ2มือ3เป็นเด็กดาวรุ่งมาก็กระทบนะก็กระทบรู้สึกว่าไม่เหนียวไม่อะไรแล้วก็เลโน่ก็ตอนนี้ก็ฟอร์มไม่ดีเลยนอกจากลูกเซฟเก่งเนี่ยไม่มีอะไรอื่นดีเลยตอนนี้ส่วนตัวตอนนี้ก็ว่าถือว่าเป็นฟอร์มมาตรฐานที่ผู้สาวตูควรจะเป็นด้วยซ้ำนะแค่เซฟเฉยๆไม่ได้ดีเหมือนตอนแรกๆส่วนลากาเซตเป็นคนที่มีโอกาสเยอะที่สุดของอาร์เซนอลโอเคแหละถึงไม่ได้เป็นจบประตูในกรอบเขตโทษแต่ลากาก็ได้ง้างสวยๆหลายๆลูกน่าสนใจลากาเซตกุ๊กว่าถ้าลากาเซตจะไปเนี่ยถ้าไปแล้วเอาเงินมาซื้อกองหน้าคนใหม่ก็เสียดายเหมือนกันนะเพราะว่าลากาเซตจริงๆเป็นกองหน้าที่ฟอร์มดีสำหรับอาร์เซนอลตั้งแต่ซีซั่นที่แล้วด้วยถ้าจะไม่ผิดน่าจะเป็นคนแบกสกอร์ของอาร์เซนอลทั้งที่ไม่ได้ลงช่วงแรกๆแล้วก็ไม่ได้เป็นตัวเลือกสำคัญของอาร์เตต้าด้วยอาร์เตต้าแสดงชัดเจนว่าลากาเซตไม่ได้เป็นตัวกองหน้าหมายเลข1ของเขาเลยพยายามดันโอบาพยายามอะไรแล้วหลายอย่างโอเคโจทย์ตรงนี้ต้องแก้ต่อไปเพราะว่าส่วนตัวกุ๊กมองว่าลากาเล่นดียิงคมถ้ามีโอกาสมีจังหวะส่วนโอบาหายไปเลยทั้งเกมมีโอกาสเปิดจริงๆแค่2 ครั้งไม่ใช้คำว่าไม่ได้เรื่องได้เลยสำหรับกุ๊กโอบาใกล้จะโดนดรอปเป็นสำรองแล้วกุ๊กว่าอาร์เตต้าถ้ามีตัวเลือกที่ดีกว่านี้หรือยังไงแล้วก็ถ้ากล้าดรอปโอบาก็ดรอปได้ก็ควรดรอปนะส่วนต่อไปเป็นใครดีต่อไปที่นี่คนนี้น่าสนใจอัลลี่เพย์เมเกอร์ของสเปอร์กุ๊กว่าโค้ชน่าจะให้โอกาสอัลลี่ไปเรื่อยๆแต่อัลลี่ไม่น่าจะพีคหรือฮอตเหมือนช่วงแรกตอนที่พอร์ตคุมไม่น่าพีคหรือน่าจะดุเหมือนตอนนั้นน่าจะเป็นเด็กอีกคนนึงไปแล้วน่าจะเป็นคนอีกคนนึงไปแล้วด้วยความที่ล้างสนามแบบจริงๆจังๆมานานโอเคแต่ไม่แน่เพราะว่าต้องพูดก่อนว่ายังไงดีสเปอร์ก็ได้ไป UCL แถมสเปอร์ได้ไป UCL ป่ะวะได้ไปเดี๋ยวดอนที่1ซิตี้ที่2แมนยูที่3ลิเวอร์ที่4ไม่ได้ไปสเปอร์ไม่ได้ไป โอเคต้องพูดก่อนว่าอาจจะพูดเท่าๆก็คือแอลลี่ได้กลับมาเล่นสนามที่มีคนดูตอนนี้น่าจะมีเสียงเชียร์โอเคอย่างที่บอกตอนแรก10 นัด5 นัด10 นัดแรกน่าจะยังไม่เปรี้ยงแต่ว่าน่าจะกลับมาเรื่อยมันมีครึ่งหลังมีโอกาสชาร์จจ่อชนเสาเท้าซ้ายด้วยนะชนเสามันบอกอะไรหลายๆอย่างทั้งที่ตรงนั้นน่ะเหลือแค่ประตูกับตาข่ายแล้วเลโน่หลงไปแล้วแต่ก็ยิงไม่เข้ามีโอกาสเยอะเหมือนกันรวมๆประมาณ3 ครั้งนะแอดลี่แต่ก็ยังจากนักเตะที่เป็นคนจมูกเป็นคนยิงไกลดีการต้องเข้าไปสอบเข้าไปด้านในน่าจะเป็นแผนใหม่ของโค้ชนี่ส่วนสมิธโลเบอร์10คนใหม่อาร์เซนอลคีย์พาส2 ครั้งหรืออะไร2 ครั้งดีต้องดูกันต่อไปครับต้องดูต่อไปนี่ภาพช่วงก่อนจบครึ่งแรกเป็นเป็นไว้กับมาลีคู่นี้กูว่าน่าจะเป็นเซนเตอร์คู่หลักของอาร์เตต้าแหละเพราะว่ากาเบรียลน่าจะโอเคกาเบรียลเป็นมีความสูงใหญ่แล้ววัยแต่ไม่น่าจะได้ไม่น่าจะเป็นอะไรสำหรับอาร์เตต้าเราก็สังเกตหลายครั้งแล้วก็ยังถ้ามีโอกาสยังไงเขาน่าจะดันนี่มากกว่าโฮดดิ้งถ้าไม่มีใครเจ็บหรืออะไรโฮดดิ้งได้รับโอกาสเรื่อยๆอยู่แล้วแต่น่าจะเป็นสำรองแล้วซีซั่นที่แล้วโฮดดิ้งได้ลงสนามเยอะอันดับ1 ใน 5 1 ใน 3ของนักเตะอาร์เซนอลเลยนะเพราะว่าอะไรเพราะว่าแม่งไม่เจ็บ แล้วฟอร์มโอเคฟอร์มก็แย่แต่ก็ฟอร์มก็ดีรวมแล้วก็มาตรฐานแล้วกันสำหรับโฮดดิ้งสำหรับโฮดดิ้งมันไม่ได้เก่งขนาดที่ว่าต้องไปพึ่งทีมแบกทีมได้หรอกแต่มันก็พึ่งได้นะในวันที่ไม่มีใครนี่ครับส่วนซีซั่นนี้ถ้าคนนี้ไม่เจ็บอาร์เซนอลน่าจะได้พึ่งยาวๆสำหรับเทนี่น่าจะพึ่งยาวๆส่วนน้องที่มาใหม่ก็เล่นดีนะดูเป็นโปรตุเกสน้องโปรตุเกสที่มาใหม่กูจำชื่อแกไม่ได้กูยังไม่ชินปากเล่นดีคนนั้นก็เล่นดีตัดเข้าในยิงประตูให้อาร์เซนอลนะมันยังไม่เป็นทางการแต่ว่าอุ่นเครื่องยิงไปแล้วส่วนเป็นไว้สอบผ่านนะสำหรับ50 ล้านไม่สำหรับเจอกองหน้าระดับ UCL นัดชิงนะเอาอยู่นะเอาซองอยู่แต่ลูกที่เสียประตูต้องบอกก่อนว่าอาร์เซนอลเสียเพราะว่าเอลนินี่ลงมาสร้างงานเลยเอลนินี่คือจังหวะนั้นน่ะเดี๋ยวเพื่อนๆลองไปดูไฮไลท์ก็ได้เอลนินี่ลงมาเว้ยเอลนี่เป็นกองกลางที่แม่งใช้คำว่าไงเป็นอะไรชั้นดีแล้วก็อย่างเงี้ยมันคืออะไรชั้นดีถ้าจำไม่ผิดเอลนินี่ค่าตัวประมาณไม่ถึง10 ล้านกูจำได้ว่าอยู่ที่6 ล้านหรือ8 ล้านนี่แหละซื้อมา FC บาเซลสมัยเวนเกอร์นั่นแหละทันสมัยอาร์เตต้าด้วยลงมาโดนซองเฮอร์มินพลิกทีเดียวโอ้โหพวดไม่ชิดไม่ไปชิดไม่ดูหลังไม่อะไรโอ้โหโดนเลยบังเอลน่าเสียดายบังเอลเป็นคนที่เล่นเกมจริงๆหลายคนมองว่าเล่นเกมรับดีมีทรงจิมโต้ซินวาแต่จังหวะด้วยฟุตบอลระบบปัจจุบันลงอาร์เตต้าชอบใช้เซนเตอร์อย่างชาก้าหรือเอลนี่ไปเล่นเซนเตอร์3เล่น3-5-2แล้วเอาเทนี่กับแบ็กวิงแบ็กเล่นแบ็กซ้ายแบ็กขวาดันขึ้นสูงเอลนี่จะมีปัญหาตรงนี้เยอะมากแต่ถ้าเล่นระบบเก่าที่เป็นกลางรับที่ไปยืนคุมคัฟเวอร์เอลนี่เล่นดีแต่แบบเนี้ยอาร์เตต้าเอลนี่มีปัญหาตลอดครับเดี๋ยวให้ดูภาพจังหวะก่อนเป็นตัวไม่เล่นนายก็ยังขายไม่ออกนะแล้วก็ได้กลับมาเบอร์15ได้มาเล่นวินแบ็กด้วยนะวิงแบ็กแต่ว่ามีนี่ลงมาอยู่นะพลิกซัวเรสลงมาตอนไหนกูจำไม่ได้เหมือนกันส่วนซาก้าลงมามีโอกาสได้ไปกับบอลประมาณ 2-3 ครั้งอยู่แล้วก็มีโอกาสได้ยิงในกรอบเขตโทษด้วยแต่เป็นข้างเท้าขวาข้างไว้ถนัดนะนี่ภาพจากแฟนบอลนะครับในสนามเนี่ยกูชอบบรรยากาศนี้แหละเวลามีแฟนบอลเข้ามาก็รวมแล้วก็ถือว่าก็ต้องดูต่อไปศุกร์13คืนเช้านั่นแหละคือตี 2ต้องรอดูกันนะว่านัดแรกเจอเบรนท์ฟอร์ดอาร์เซนอลฟอร์มนัดเปิดสนามแม่งโคตรไม่ดีเลยหลายครั้งฟอร์มไม่ดีไม่อะไรแต่ที่บอกก็ต้องเชียร์ต่อไปสำหรับกุ๊กว่าปีนี้ ไม่รู้เหมือนกันว่าอาร์เตต้าจะอยู่รอดไหมนะแต่ถ้าดูจากอุ่นเครื่องที่ผ่านมาประมาณ4 นัด 5 นัดอะกูว่าไม่รอดว่ะอาร์เตต้าทั้งที่ความรู้สึกส่วนตัวว่าจริงๆไม่ได้ไปเล่นฟุตบอลยุโรปหาเหวอะไรเลยอะน่าจะทำผลงานได้ดีแต่ว่าดูจากทรงแล้วไม่น่ารอดคืออาร์เตต้าพูดรวมๆก่อนเลยว่าอาร์เตต้าเล่นเกมลุกดีแต่เกมรับเป็นจุดเสียอาร์เตต้าเลยจุดเกมรับทำไมถึงซื้อเบนไว้มา50 ล้านทำไมซีซั่นที่แล้วอาร์เซนอลต้องซื้อกองหลังมาหลายคนมาก 3-4 ฤดูกาลนี้ซื้อกองหลังทั้งหมดเยอะมากตั้งแต่อาร์เตต้าเข้ามาซื้อกาเบียลมาลีซื้อเทนี่ก็มามีฟิลิกโซเลสอีกมีน้องที่มาจากใหม่ล่าสุดจากเบลเยียมโลกงก้าคนนึงมาจากโลกงก้าที่คนนี้ที่คอมพานีของซิตี้เดี๋ยวโลกงก้านี่เล่นดีนะเล่นดีมียิงไกลมีไปกับบอลมีทะลุช่องโลกงก้าเนี่ยถือว่าให้ผ่านแล้วก็อยากให้ถ้าไม่เจ็บหรืออะไรเนี่ยน่าจะได้จริงๆซีซั่นนี้น่าจะได้เป็นอะไรแต่ตอนนี้ปาเต้เจ็บซาก้าเหมือนจะได้ไปชุบชีวิตจากฟุตบอลยูโรมาที่เข้ารอบลึกๆต้องรอดูว่าซาก้าหลังจากไม่ได้ไปทีมไหนแล้วหรือยังไงน่าจะดีกูรอดูซีซั่นนี้นะส่วนตัวมองว่าเกมลุกอาร์เซนอลซีซั่นนี้มีประตูไม่เยอะแน่นอนแต่ยิงประตูเรื่อยๆแต่เกมรับต้องรอดูว่าจะแก้ปัญหาได้ไหมตอนนี้ปัญหาเกมรับอาร์เซนอลมีอยู่ไม่กี่อย่างละผู้สาวประตูเบเลโนที่เซฟดีก็จริงแต่พอโดนกดดันแล้วมีปัญหาแล้วก็กลางรับที่ลงมาถอยมาเล่นเซนเตอร์ก็คือเล่น3-5-2ระหว่างแข่งเนี่ยโดนปรับมาเนี่ยมีปัญหาตลอดไม่ว่าจะเป็นซาก้าเอลนี่ปัญหาตรงนี้อาร์เตต้ายังแก้ไม่ได้เว้ยโอเคสำหรับวันนี้ไม่มีอะไรแล้วครับฝากด้วยนะครับสำหรับเดอะกรุงทาชาแนลก็เจอกันใหม่ในโอกาสหน้าครับสำหรับฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์กด Subscribe ด้วยสำหรับวันนี้ไปแล้วครับเดอะกรุงทาชาแนลบ๊ายบาย